5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I counted in reverse. Welcome back to the TMCJ podcast.
I was gonna say that, and then I was like, but I got called stupid last time I said that, so I'm not gonna say it this time.
We are on episode 52. We have been doing this for an entire year, and that is the first time that I screwed up my own countdown.
Oh, okay, that you screwed yourself up. Okay.
I've screwed up the intro before, but
I've screwed you up a lot.
You've done that too, but I've never screwed up the countdown. Normally, I count up into the episode and count down before I hit record and before Blue hits record.
Anyway.
Hey, if you're still listening at this point, thank you for being with us for an entire year.
Yep.
But yeah, this is a big moment. 52 episodes. We have been doing this when we started this because of the whole lockdown thing, just to have something to do, and then we had so much fun doing it. We kept doing it, and here we are, 1 year later, and we have not missed an episode.
Indeed. I mean, aside from the fact it's a thing that we've been thinking about for years, but the lockdown pushed us to actually do it, so yeah, I suppose we can put that.
That's a good point. Yeah, we had been talking about doing it in the background, but anyway, quick little warning before we get into the topics in segment 1. At least the second topic we talk about is going to, let's say, have something to do with sexual misconduct. So if that's something that you don't want to hear about, when we get to that point, skip ahead, because segment 2 is about Pulp Fiction, so it honestly doesn't get much better.
Segment 3!
Segment 3, we've got something planned for that. We're actually going to look through some of our old episodes and see old topics that we've talked about. Basically do a year in review. Look at some things.
There shouldn't be any sexual content, hopefully.
I remember this episode. We were both naked. Oh, man. But, so the first one, and I have to talk about this because I've seen this all over my YouTube feed for the last few days, and that is Netflix's painful attempt to do a reboot of the Masters of the Universe TV show from the 80s. Specifically, well, most people know it as like He-Man, which the show was called Masters of the Universe. He-Man was the main character. I never watched this show growing up. I was a Transformers kid. That's what I watched. But it was fairly popular in the U.S., especially amongst the generation that was born either in or just after the 80s. And this show, like, let me just describe what they did to it. So they brought it back, and animation, beautiful. I watched the first episode of it kind of in preparation for this little bit here. The animation is gorgeous. It looks awesome. And there's this big epic fight in the middle of it where it's He-Man versus Skeletor, and there's all this stuff happens, and then Skeletor attacks this magical orb thing, and it causes, this huge explosion. He-Man sacrifices himself to stop it. And this is where things get a little weird. So in episode 1, they kill He-Man. Oh. That's already weird. But then, and the rest of the show I know about mostly from watching reviews of it. I have not watched the entire show myself. I'm going to put that out there right now. Right. Essentially what they do is He-Man dies, and it's revealed that He-Man was actually the prince of this kingdom that is the main thing of the show. I don't know a whole lot about the lore, so I don't actually have a huge emotional investment in this one. I'm not as offended if they fuck it up unlike other shows that I've seen. But
considering... So, obviously I haven't seen it either. I was born a lot later than it was released.
Yeah.
But I know about it for sure. Like, everyone's heard of He-Man. And if you haven't heard of He-Man, you've probably heard of the song. The yeah song.
I'm already laughing when I hear about it.
Like, that's been parodied to hell, and also it's just a jamming song. So it's kind of... I don't know much about it. I'm assuming if he dies in episode 1, then he comes back in the next one.
He does come back, but according to the people I've watched that have watched the whole series, he comes back, but it's like episode 6 or 7 or something like that.
Right.
But, well, actually, no, hold on. There's only 5 episodes. I think it's like the 4th or 5th episode. But it's near the end of the series when he comes back. But yeah, point being, I was born at the tail end of the 80s, so I caught a few episodes of this on reruns, but it wasn't something I watched like live when it was actually coming out. So he dies. Then his grieving, it's revealed that he was secretly the prince of this thing, because the whole premise of the show, as I understand it, was he uses this sort of power to transform him from like the more modest prince of this kingdom into He-Man, this big, like, bulky warrior man, right?
Yeah, when he gets the Master Sword, right?
Yeah, exactly.
From Hyrule Castle.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. And then he goes off to save Zelda. No,
he is Zelda.
God damn it. So he dies, and then his parents are, like, grieving because they find out this is his son, and this is where things got weird in the first episode. And I'd heard this from other... I actually watched the Critical Drinker did a review of it. And so his review was what made me want to like talk about this and watch the first episode to see if it was as bad as it sounded. Yeah. And it's true. At this point, this other character, and I'm trying to remember her name. It starts with like an L or something like that. Maybe?
I know how bad you are with names. So.
Layla or...
Let's call her Layla. Yeah.
We'll call her Layla. Whatever her name is. She apparently is another major character, or maybe a minor character. The original show had a ton of different characters. She's pissed that he never told her who he was as He-Man. The grieving parents are pissed because they lost their son. So they fire the head of their household guard, who was a loyal servant and obeying the orders of the prince to not reveal his secret identity. Right. And in the middle of all this happening, Layla, or whatever her name is, gets wicked pissy at like the rest of them and goes like, it's like, but I was lied to. This is the worst thing ever. And she quits and runs off.
Right.
And then fast forward a few years, and for the rest of the show, and this is after I've watched. Again, I've only watched the first episode. She apparently becomes a lesbian mercenary.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that facetiously. She's actually a lesbian. She spends the rest of the show is her and like her little girl club and a lion all going around and I don't know, solving mysteries and fighting people or something.
Do they wokeify it?
I wouldn't go.
I mean, the moment I hear that kind of they I don't know.
In a way, so they made the main chick look. She looks like a man. Just to put it bluntly, she got like.
You're just saying she's muscly.
No, she's got like the brick jaw chin. She has like shoulders like
Yeah.
Like
She-Man.
Yeah, essentially. Like she imagine like what's that tennis player who got like really famous for
don't know.
I can't
watch tennis.
Yeah, sorry, I can't, but she was on one of my biology books in college.
Right.
Just remember. Anyway, but think like the most athletic woman you've ever seen and then double that size. That's what she looks like. And she's got the lesbian haircut where it's like shaved on one side and combed over.
The crew cut? Is that what it is?
No, like the emo haircut where you shave like one side of your head and have the rest of it like flopped over to one side.
Oh, like what I've got right now. Gotcha. The lesbian hair. You should have said so sooner, mate.
So I don't want to like pick at the aesthetics too much because whatever. She could have looked like that and it could have still been a good story. But apparently, from what I've heard, the writing is just abysmal.
Okay. Also, what I'm really interested in.
Hold on.
Okay.
One last thing. In episode 4 or 5, He-Man does come back, but he comes back as a whiny bitch, and then they kill him again.
Okay.
So they kill the main character from the original show twice.
Yeah. Shit. So does he come back after that?
I have no idea. I imagine we find that out in season 2 or something like that.
Do we find out? Because obviously Skeletor, classically the big baddie. Everyone knows what he looks like.
Yeah.
People who don't know what He-Man looks like knows what Skeletor looks like.
Yeah. I knew who Skeletor was before I knew who He-Man was.
Yeah, I think I did as well. Does it explain why he's evil?
Oh, well, I think that's explained in the original show. Like,
Okay.
he's trying to... I think he's trying to, like... You know, the classic 80s cartoon villain. He's trying to get power to rule the world, or something like that.
Okay. So he's doing it for, like, domination over the rest of the world. Okay.
Essentially, yeah. And so his goal in this one is to, like, you know, kill this magical orb thing, which they established in the first episode, so that his enemies don't have power and he can more easily conquer or something like that.
Honestly, what I want to see, right, is, you know how, I think it's the Marvel Universe remade Venom as, had his own story, and he was fucking badass, and it was a great film.
Yeah.
I want to see that for Skeletor.
I would love, honestly, I'd watch a Skeletor series.
That would be fucking... Like,
I
he's
didn't,
got
like
the
I said, I
awesome
didn't,
laugh.
I didn't even watch the I didn't watch the original He-Man series, but I would watch a Skeletor series.
I mean, he's probably the coolest person in the series.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Like, and he doesn't have those morals holding him back. He would make a great film.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've talked about this before. It's one of the reasons I found, like, Megatron from the original Transformers series to be a compelling character.
So transformative.
No. But yeah, so that's kind of the long and short of it, is they've taken an old 80s cartoon and they have done what seems to be happening with increasing regularity to a lot of reboots.
Yeah.
Is they're taking minor characters and they're essentially putting a skin on a concept that isn't that interesting. Because there was potential here. I could see that. Like, I wasn't a fan of the original series, but watching that first episode for like the first, I want to say for like the first half of it or so, I was actually into it. I was like, oh, this is cool. The animation is cool. They're fighting. There's like all these, you know, I was like, I don't know who these characters are really, other than like He-Man and Skeletor and whatnot. But, you know, I would love to hear more about them. And then at the end of that episode, they killed the characters I was interested in and then fired or emasculated the ones that, like, were not dead.
Yeah.
It's just... I don't know. Netflix is having a rough time of it right now. Their stock is going through the floor, too.
And I think it's not helped, but, like, dare I say it, I think it's probably not as bad for Netflix as it probably actually is. Because I know certain news journalists do love to blow things out of proportion.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
like, especially there's that one YouTuber that we both talked about a lot, and he definitely fucking blows shit out of proportion.
To be fair, the guy that you're talking about, he owns his own marketing company, so I think that has something to do with it.
Right, yeah, okay.
He has the ability to... He's got the spin, the talent for doing the spin.
Like, since you told me about it the other day, I've seen, like, 4 different videos on the same topic from him.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't think it's quite as bad
But
as
one thing I would recommend, though, is I would highly recommend... and this is something I recommend in general. Like, there are YouTubers that I follow that I wouldn't recommend to everyone. One YouTuber that I would recommend to everyone is Critical Drinker. Like... Guy's absolutely hilarious, and he's usually spot on with his critiques on, like, movies and stuff.
Although, and this is a kind of, I guess, a critique of him a little bit, personally I find that about a quarter of the way into the video you've probably heard all the opinions he has. He does repeat himself a lot.
He does. Yeah.
As good as his opinions are, and they're very funny videos. That would just be my suggestion.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else regarding He-Man?
No, that's really it. It's just another beloved 80s franchise revived and then shat on.
Yeah, well, Seems to be the way that a lot of reboots turn out these days.
I'm not looking forward to the day that they revive the animated Transformers series, and Optimus Prime is a whiny little bitch.
I mean, they kind of already have.
Well, I mean, they did the opposite. They actually took all the soul out of the series and cast Shia LaBeouf in the movies. So, I mean,
yeah, they exactly. They kind of they castrated it a little bit. Anyway,
you had something to talk about, and this is the one spoiler, but warning. This is what I warned about at the beginning of the episode. Is this one's a bit
spicy, but actually. Surprise frickin' topic. You didn't see it coming this time, Kaiser. That's right, we've got a surprise topic for the middle of the episode.
And what is it?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Kaiser. Today's surprise topic is on the octopus. That's right, your friendly neighborhood creature, the octopus. I was at the aquarium earlier today.
I'm just so confused by this. Okay, go on.
And there is a surprising number of things about the octopus that are just fascinating. At least to me.
I know quite a bit about octopi.
Oh, well, perfect. Well, that's the first thing. There is not, in fact, any word for a group of octopuses. Because they are solo creatures that do not interact with any other creature. So there is no term for a herd or a group of them.
I think you'll find it's called octopussies.
Sure in your mind it is, Kaiser. So... Classic question. How many tentacles does an octopus have, Kaiser?
8.
Incorrect. It's a trick question because technically, biologically stated, a tentacle only has suckers on the tips. Octopus, in fact, have 8 arms.
Which have suckers all across them, yeah.
All the way down them, yes. And each arm actually has its own brain. An octopus has 9 brains.
Alright, big question for you. Let's see if you know this one from your
Probably not.
brief exposure. How many eyes do they have?
Ooh. I don't know. I didn't look that up.
If I'm not mistaken, they have 3. One on either side, and they have a bonus eye.
In the, I think that has something to do with what I'm going to be coming up with later. The 9 brains, they are in fact... surround the octopus's stomach.
I'm sorry, can we talk really quickly about how we warned people that there might be a sexually explicit topic, and then immediately started talking about tentacles?
It's gonna get worse. So, then, at the end of the talk, the guy that was doing the talk, there was a guy doing a talk in the aquarium, and he put it very well. Considering there were like young children and babies in the area.
Yeah.
Now, this is a little bit graphic at home, so I apologise. You know creatures that there's quite a few out there, a surprisingly scary amount, that after mating, the female will crush and then eat the male.
Yeah, a bunch of spiders do it too.
Yeah, spiders do it a lot. Yes, octopus does this. So, the male octopus detaches his member with the stuff inside and literally throws it at the woman.
What the fuck? I did not know this, and I now wish I didn't.
And then the male dies pretty quickly, and quite often the female will then eat the male, and then after. Go on.
So, can I just say from an evolutionary perspective, this does make some amount of sense?
Yes.
As much as I am offended as a male hearing this, it makes sense because it ensures that the female has adequate nourishment to rear and have the offspring.
Well, once the female octopus has given birth, and female octopuses only give birth once. That third eye thing, I think, has something to do with that. Then means that once it's given birth, it self-forever sleeps by either not eating or running into walls. And then the children eat the mother. It's really fucked up.
Honestly, Octopus could, like, give the Zerg a run for their money.
Right? It's pretty terrifying. But anyway, on a slightly lighter-hearted topic, the only, like, solid piece of an octopus
is
its, like, mouth. Yeah. So it can literally, like, squeeze through things the size of, like, a large milk cap. Like, it is crazy how
it's like if you've ever seen, like, a cat squeeze under a door.
Yeah,
cats are
like they suddenly have no bones.
Yeah, exactly. They're basically made of liquid. Interesting. I didn't actually know the thing about the breeding bit. Like, I know a few facts about them and stuff.
Yeah. Well, anyway, sorry. That was my short topic on topic on octopus.
Now onto a darker topic.
So that'll give you nightmares. Now then. So, it doesn't start out dark, this topic. So, a few weeks ago, there is a company called Blizzard Entertainment who have made this massively popular, massively multiplayer online role-playing game.
And more relevantly, to me at least, they've made StarCraft.
Yeah. To shorten it, we're just going to call it an MMO.
Yeah.
Now, they made this game so many years ago, and they've continuously built on it constantly for all those years. And it's been probably one of the biggest games out there.
I'd say
for
so.
Pretty much the whole time. And that game's called World of Warcraft. Now, a lot has changed since the early stages of World of Warcraft. In fact, I think almost like the entire staff has been changed gradually over time, probably multiple times.
Yeah.
And they have a very different ethos, it's said, than the original crew, and it's become a lot more about looking at the sales figures as opposed to the player figures.
Yeah, I could definitely see that being the case. So, for reference, they make quite a few games. They make World of Warcraft, WoW, as it's known. They made the original StarCraft. They made StarCraft 2, which I am still an avid player of. They made Diablo 1, 2, and 3. They made... I'm trying to think now. Hearthstone. Yep, card game. There's a few others too, but they're
a very big company.
Generally known for making very high quality games.
Yeah.
Here's the story. Actually, but yeah, no. Being someone who plays their games, this is the reason I went into this. Being someone who plays their games, you can definitely see there's been a degradation in quality over the years.
There's been a lot more things in the shop where you can buy mounts and things that do all the same things that all the best items that you earn in game can do.
Yeah.
So they're very much taking away the user experience, I would say, in exchange for the user paying them more money, which is kind of ridiculous. On top of the fact that World of Warcraft has a subscription fee anyway. It's like, what, £12 a month or something crazy?
I don't know. I've never actually... I played it. It bored the fuck out of me, but I've played it.
There's so much content in that game now. I've no doubt I would enjoy it greatly because there's so much content that if I found something boring, I could just skip to another part.
Yeah. But
it costs so much money. Anyway, there is a massive YouTuber and streamer called Asmongold. He primarily streams on Twitch. He is a bit of an asshole. Self-professed. And personally, I think he's very funny. I agree he is a bit of an asshole in the same way that me and Kaiser are also kind of assholes from time to time.
You can't spend as much time on the internet as we do and not be an asshole.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's beside the point. And Blizzard team, but he's one of the probably the most popular World of Warcraft streamer in the world.
Yeah, I think Sorry, before you finish, I think you and Scott were the ones. You or Scott, one of you two, were the ones that actually introduced me to who he was, because I didn't know who he was until like a month or two ago.
That's the thing. I didn't know much about him either before then. It's like I don't know. It's a game I've never played. I have no intention of playing it, but he is so charismatic that it makes very fun videos. So yes, he has basically stood up and said, I'm going to start playing this other MMO by a different publisher, Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
And so the internet erupted, saying that he had, burnt his bridges. He was saying, fuck you to Blizzard, which, I mean, Blizzard was saying fuck you to him, so I can't blame him if he did.
Yeah.
He is still playing World of Warcraft. He hasn't left the game. And so the number of people playing World of Warcraft massively dropped. And the number of people playing Final Fantasy massively rose. So much so that I think Final Fantasy has now got more Twitch viewers or something than World of Warcraft has. Some pretty fucking crazy numbers. Anyway, so there was all that, and everyone was like, "Oh, Blizzard, you're terrible. Your content of the game, the content you're putting out for the game has been so bad. We're going to start moving on to these new people. They've got shiny giant chickens that you can ride around on and casino halls. I'm going to go play their game instead." So many YouTubers have followed this trend. They are all started playing Final Fantasy, and there is a massive calling for it at the moment, especially because for the first 25 levels of Final Fantasy, the game is completely free.
So, to be fair...
So is World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
For a limited time, is it, or something?
No. You can play up until level 20 or 25 free.
Okay.
Which is the reason that I've played it. I've never paid to play that fucking game.
Right, okay.
But I have played it for free before.
Yeah, so that's what happened. And then suddenly this second massive article came out, literally last week. Blizzard has been taken to court by the state of California because of their treatment of women in the workplace, basically. So Blizzard were having parties where men would get drunk and go from stall to stall in the offices, drinking and talking to women, that kind of thing. I'm leaving out some details, whatever. But anyway, these parties, they were investigating Blizzard, and they're finding out people are bringing butt plugs and lube to company parties.
Okay, yeah.
And one woman, who's an employee, had particular photos passed around of her.
Okay.
And then shortly after that, she committed forever sleep.
So, let me go through as you're describing these events, let me go through my thought process. One, you're talking okay, they have these big parties, people get drunk, they do whatever. I work for a corporation. They have parties. Oh, yeah. People get people get wasted.
Yeah.
Sometimes people do stupid things at those parties. It's fine. I saw a coworker fall through a table. Stuff happens.
Yeah.
But it's okay, that's one thing. That's fine. People make mistakes. Then you're starting to get into the area okay, there's a little bit of misconduct here. There's people who are getting a little uncomfortably close to others. It's okay, that's a problem. And that should be dealt with through HR or whatever. And this is not just a Blizzard thing. Other video game. There was a Riot Games, people who make League of Legends and actually Valorant. There was an instance where some executive, as a prank, used to go up to conference rooms and just take his balls out and put them on the glass.
Right.
So
it's kind of, yeah.
You get the weirdo people there who maybe don't have the best idea how to interact socially. That's a problem. But then you're bringing sex toys to the workplace. That's a problem. And then you've also got somebody, sending nudes around of an actual coworker to people, and that is beyond fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't care what your company does. There are certain behaviors that leave that in fucking grade school. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then that person
yeah, obviously that is even worse.
Yeah.
Now,
That is
but here's
literally the worst thing that can happen in these situations.
at this point, I'm sorry, like Blizzard has made some of my favorite games ever. StarCraft 2,
Yeah.
I'm having so much fun playing through StarCraft 2 campaign again and doing the stream of it.
Yep.
I love it. But
That shit doesn't run.
it doesn't. And the thing is, like, it's not even like they're making any good work. I have no sympathy for them whatsoever now.
I mean, when did StarCraft 2 come out?
2010.
2000, so it's been 11 years. How many
Yeah.
good games have they released since then?
Overwatch. And that was in 2015. That was our last good
The
game,
first
in my
Overwatch,
opinion.
yeah.
Yeah, the first Overwatch came out in 2015. And I think that was the last good game they made.
Yep.
Ever since then, they merged with Activision and released a whole bunch of shit.
Didn't...
But the thing is, it doesn't even matter if they're making good games or not. Like, this kind of reflects on, like, I think the bad games and the poor quality of shit coming out since then. Let me put it this way: I'm not trying to say that them putting out good games would excuse this kind of behavior. I'm saying the fact that they have these kinds of shitty people working for them is probably the reason they're putting out bad games.
Yeah, I'm talking about the quality of the employees in both a personable terms and their work-life terms.
Yeah.
Because I'm imagining over the course of, the business's life that every year there's new people. And so I'm just making a scale of it.
Blizzard already has, does not have, in any way, as a company, the moral high ground. You remember last year when that whole thing going on with Hong Kong and, the Chinese government coming in and, kicking the shit out of people?
No.
Oh, okay. Maybe I didn't talk about it.
Maybe I do, and maybe I've just forgotten about it, but okay.
Hey, you, a big throwback to a podcast last year. This is probably close to, 11 months ago at this point.
Right.
There was a big thing in Hong Kong, political topic. Again, we're already in controversial territory, so I'm going to talk about this anyway.
Go for it.
But Beijing passed a law that would allow them to extradite people from Hong Kong, which is technically a separate judicial area because the British kept it separate for 99 years. And the agreement when the British left was that that city wouldn't have to become part of the whole communist regime, and then after 99 years, there would be, it was after 50 years, there would be some kind of a integration where the two, governments kind of mesh together. Beijing was like, fuck that, we're bored, and then they passed a law that would allow them to extradite people from Hong Kong to Beijing to essentially be disappeared into some kind of a gulag. The big protest all around the country. One of the pro players for Hearthstone, who was from Hong Kong at the time, he won a tournament, and they were like, "Oh, do you have anything to say?" And he's like, "I have nothing to say, but just for my the people, his country." I don't know if he said countrymen or whatnot, but he's like, "Oh yeah, this is, free Hong Kong." So he said something. I
have heard about this recently. Yeah.
He said something along the lines that was essentially him endorsing the people protesting for their independence from China, right?
Yeah.
And Blizzard banned him, took his prize money, and suspended him from the game.
Didn't they?
No, he wasn't an employee. He was a player. He was a pro player. They fired the employees. They fired the casters. They fired the casters, took the prize money from the player, and then banned him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty disgusting.
So, and then when Blizzard employees tried to protest the fact that they had done this, those employees got reprimanded. So, again...
there's a lot of stories out about Blizzard at the moment. One woman was getting, basically, one of the higher-ups were, as a joke, coming up and making her, spooking her. And she said, she's nervous, she really doesn't like it, please stop.
Yeah.
And her higher-up made her take a emotional security, read up on it, and then come back in the next day. And in front of her higher-up and the dude that was doing it, she had to give like an apology and for being like not secure with someone creeping up on her in the workplace. Like there's so many stories like that going around.
That's the kind of prank that you pull amongst your friends. Like
Yeah.
I've had friends who like get really nervous if somebody touches their neck, and so
Right.
like I'm good friends with them. I'll run up and like poke them in the neck just to fuck with them.
And even then, if they were being serious back to you,
But
and
if
they
they
were, like,
exactly if
seriously
they were
don't do
very
that.
like seriously, do not do this. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. No.
But that's in a friendly environment. In a professional environment, you do not do that shit.
No.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, play Final Fantasy. Square Enix seems like a lot better company.
Oh my God. Even if they do dress all their characters by crashing through a wardrobe.
Well, actually, so, you know how... Actually, I don't know if you do know about this.
I'm thinking of the
World of
older
Warcraft,
Final Fantasy. I've only played the single-player Final Fantasy games. I haven't really played any of the MMOs.
In the old World of Warcraft, Asmongold would do these things, because he has such a large viewing, where he would bring, like, let's say 50 people into a private room.
Yeah.
And he would go through them one at a time, and he'd do these things called transmog competitions, where people would mix and match armor sets and things to, like, basically just come up with a really fucking cool-looking character.
I already love this idea. All right.
Like, it's got, believing it's got legs, he's been doing it for fucking years. And also the same with mount-offs, because there's so many mounts in World of Warcraft. He'd be like, okay, everyone who has this mount, put it on now. If you don't have it, get out. And then all these like different kind of fun things that aren't part of the game, but he makes it part of the game.
That's one of the things that there are. Sorry, did you have a conclusion to that, or?
Yeah. So now he's gone to Final Fantasy, and these transmog things had never been done in Final Fantasy before, and now he's brought that there, and there's a big crowd of people who are like, "Fuck yeah, this is like adding a fashion parade to Final Fantasy. This is really cool. Gonna start playing the game for all these awesome outfits."
So, let me regale you with a story, and this is how we'll end segment 1. So, this is something that a lot of RPGs have, and it's the metagaming. It's when you're outside of the game, you do these things to kind of like role play, like in a game that has no punishment for, like, so for instance in Cyberpunk, right? When I first played through the game. It's a single-player game. There's no reason, no benefit, no reward for me to do this. But my first character I played through entirely non-lethal. And I did it just because, in my mind, the headcanon I had for this character was that, she was somebody who would play by the book when she couldn't. She only killed when she had to. And then my second character, I played him as like a ruthless cutthroat that killed everyone.
Yeah.
And
Added a challenge kind of thing.
Yeah, and again, but it has nothing to do with there's no in-game benefit. So, let me give you this story from my high school days. One of my best friends growing up, name was JJ. The two of us, Morrowind on the Xbox. We'd play Morrowind on the original Xbox. Single-player game, no multiplayer aspect. He would bring his Xbox over to my house, and we drag this old TV up from my basement, and he'd play on one TV, I'd play on the other. We'd just play Morrowind in the same room.
Yeah.
He made a character that was a Khajiit, which is basically a humanoid cat.
Oh yeah, you've told me this story very
I have,
recently.
but I've never told it on the podcast.
True.
I've never told it on the podcast. He made a rule that the character had to pick up every spool of yarn he found and had to carry every spool of yarn with him. And he played through the whole game like this, to the point where he had to like drop valuable equipment because he had so much yarn on him that he didn't have enough room for a lot of it.
Yeah. I remember at the end, when you told me how much the yarn was roughly, I remember that being like, that seems like not very much yarn for playing the whole of Morrowind.
The thing is, there isn't terribly a lot of yarn, but he did have to check every container and everything like that and pick it all up. It was just like, but it was a fun little thing. And that's part of the fun in a lot of RPGs, is finding these little side things to do for yourself, to find like this extra layer of enjoyment, to find that extra layer of investment in the game.
Yeah. It's like CS:GO surfing. Like, who the fuck would have thought that would have picked up?
Yeah.
CS:GO surfing is where, like, the characters in the popular game Counter-Strike Global Offensive, where it's a terrorist versus anti-terrorist game.
Yeah.
And someone worked out that if you slide on a wall at a very particular angle while doing
And
a
pull out
certain
a
key
knife.
combination.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, a knife too. You're moving fast enough. You basically ski along the side of this, and you can do like crazy jumps off the end of it. And
I mean,
this guy ended up making a bunch of maps that just incredibly satisfying to just like.
The same thing existed in Halo, super jumping. So in
Yeah.
Halo, if you found an edge in a map and then crouch walked into it, jumped backwards, and landed on another edge, you would super bounce. You would jump hundreds and hundreds of feet into the air. Just fun little things. I mean, though, the games that really engage people, the games that people play the most and stick with, are the games that have that certain element and that let people engage on a level beyond what they were originally intended for. If that makes sense, it doesn't sound too pretentious.
Yeah.
All right, but we've kind of talked about this for a while now.
Yep.
Any
And we
final?
Sorry, go on.
We have a packed podcast. So, do you have anything else to say before we kill it?
No. Hopefully the next two segments will be a little less downbeat, so I apologize for that. But hey, you can go to bed knowing a little bit more about an octopus.
Yeah, the next ones hopefully should be a lot more fun. All right, this is going to be the end of segment 1 of the TMCJ podcast. Thank you all for listening, and you will hear us again momentarily for segment 2. Welcome back to the TMCJ podcast. We are on not episode. Segment 2. God damn it.
Two on fuck-ups and I haven't done shit yet.
I mean, to be fair, normally we record this on a Saturday morning. We're recording it on a Sunday evening. So I'm not exactly on my A game
On Monday
yet.
morning, I think you mean. It's 1 a.m. here.
Oh, is it actually? Okay. Well,
Yes.
we're recording this. This is the first time travel podcast that we've ever had. Blue is in the future, and I am in the past right now.
Oh my god, Trump is the president again. It's terrible. There's meteorites raining from the sky.
How did he get back? So I am currently is sitting in the past, but Blue is currently on a weekday.
Yep.
Has nothing to do with this. So we actually did do movie night. We watched Pulp Fiction this week.
We've been promising it. Literally what I said on the weekend was we've been promising this for all the fucking year. Like, since we started the podcast, I'm pretty sure we were saying we were going to watch this.
We
keep putting it off.
We have talked about Pulp Fiction quite a bit. And the thing is, both of us knew it was a classic movie, but neither of us had seen it, and it had taken us quite a long time to actually get to the point we would actually watch it, and here we are.
And boy, was it worth it.
It was a great movie, honestly. Like,
it was fucking great.
I don't think there was a single moment that I was not entertained throughout that entire movie.
Moments where I was confused.
Oh, there's plenty of confusion.
Always entertained.
So the movie, like, I'll just quickly breeze through the plot. The movie opens up on a scene that I think a lot of people have seen before. Probably in, like, classic movie YouTube compilations or something like that.
Yeah, memes.
Yep, where you've got Sam Jackson and Jesus, what the fuck is the other guy's name?
No, I'm thinking Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, but he's the one that made the movie.
Yeah, not the actor.
I actually do not. Tom, Sam Jackson and the white guy. They're like, you know, they're in suits, they're in a car, they're having some quiet banter.
It's a little bit of Vince from A Way Out.
He did look a lot like Vince, actually, yeah.
The hair's different, and the nose is not quite as long, but, you know.
The same sort of look. Anyway, so they're in the hallway, they're talking. It's just, clearly this is like they're having a water cooler conversation. Like the kind of conversation you have with a coworker when you have a casual moment. And then they bust into an apartment. And there's like, you know, there's one guy up against the wall. There's one guy that's kind of on the couch. There's one guy who's sitting at a table. He's got like a fast food kind of spread in front of him with a bag. And Sam Jackson, like, they interrogate him. They're trying to find something out. They're trying to look for something that they swiped from whoever these guys' boss is. And it's such an intense scene, and there are quite a few quotable moments. The whole
You've actually skipped the first part of the scene.
Did I actually?
The diner scene.
Oh, sorry. I completely forgot about that, because that almost feels like a whole separate movie.
Yeah, it jumps around a lot, this movie. Like, back and forth.
There's quite a bit that they go back and forth on. So the very beginning of the movie opens up in a diner with this British guy and what is presumably his girlfriend talking about... Like, they're clearly, like, a Bonnie and Clyde kind of crazy little heist duo.
Yeah.
And they decide that, fuck it, they're going to rob this place. And as they start to rob the place, that's where it cuts to Sam Jackson and the white guy. And I feel bad because he's a famous actor, but I completely forgot his fucking name. But anyway, so they bust in, and Sam Jackson has so many quotable like lines in this scene. And the one is the famous say, what ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English and what? And the guy's like, what? Say what again?
How dare you? I double dare you.
It's so good. Anyway, so
Is your boss a bitch? What?
He's like, does Marcellus Wallace look like a bitch? And he's like, what? And then he shoots him. He's like, does he look like a bitch? And he goes, no. I don't know. It's just, the scene is awesome. Like, there's a certain kind of person that won't like this movie. I was talking to my mother earlier today. My dad loves this movie. My mother hates it. There's a certain kind of person that's going to really like this movie. There's a certain kind of person that's really going to hate it. You'll kind of know once you watch that first scene whether you're the former or the latter. Anyway, so they finish off the people there. They collect the item that they have to go away with, and then one of the guys who's... I guess it's kind of implied that he's like an informant or something like that. He comes with them. They're having an argument in the car, and it's not like an intense argument. It's like a casual argument.
Are we doing this in the format of the way the movie did it, or are we just doing story by story? Right now, this is quite late in the film.
Oh, you're right. I'm going story by story, aren't I?
Yeah. The next thing they jump to is them walking into the bar with the briefcase, and the butcher is being dressed down.
Okay, yeah.
Butcher is being dressed down, sorry, not the butcher.
Yeah. Sorry. I am going story by story rather than... Alright, well, do you want to...
Shall I narrate it?
Yeah, prime me for the what's happening with the butcher, because, like, I'm on the path of what the two, like, Sam Jackson and the other guy are doing.
Yeah.
I'm not on that path.
So Butch is being told by Big Boss that he needs to go and do his boxing, and in the 5th round he needs to get knocked out, and so the Big Boss can make money, and that's... so Butch then stands up, goes to walk out, and the Samuel L. Jackson and let's call him Tony.
I'm gonna look him up while you continue.
Okay, those two walk in wearing completely different outfits, holding this briefcase that they got off of the kids in the flat, and the Tony guy is like, "Oh, I'm going to be looking after the Big Boss's wife tomorrow for reasons."
John Travolta,
okay. And so yeah, he kind of...
Oh yeah, because they were talking about that in the staircase, the fact that he's nervous about taking the Big Boss's wife out. Yeah, because he's like,
cross the line.
If he crosses the line, then the Big Boss will have him whacked. And yeah.
So after that scene, is it the part with Butch as a child, or is it the part with... Because...
No, we're not quite at that yet. I think they have the date scene first.
Okay, so Travolta goes off to this place where there's basically his dealer, right? This guy that looks literally like they couldn't have tried hard to make him look like Jesus.
Yeah, it was like picture hippie Jesus.
Yeah, and hippie Jesus is selling him, what is it? It's not cocaine, it's
Heroin.
heroin. So he buys this super strong heroin off hippie Jesus. Then he has this not date. It's not a date.
They do call it a date in the movie, but it's like a casual friend zone.
Yeah.
Not like a date because otherwise the guy gets killed.
Yeah. So he turns up to the big boss's house, and the missus is there. She's kind of a bit weird. She talks to him through the PA at first, and then she turns up, and they go out in his car.
Yeah.
They go to this diner.
This
Is
weird
super fucking cool diner, by the way.
It did look actually. I honestly I would love to go to a place like that.
Yeah, me and Alicia were both like, because she kind of likes that style, and I think it just looked very cool.
It was a very like retro kind of feel to it.
There are a bunch of historical figures like Marilyn Monroe dressed up in the diner.
Yeah.
And yeah, they kind of sat down, they had a burger, and they kind of talked to each other person to person, but there was kind of also this air of flirtiness about it.
Yeah. A sexual tension that Travolta was trying to avoid.
Yeah, and then at one point Travolta's like, so the last person that gave you a foot massage got like disabled for life or something. So just setting those boundaries, and she's like, nah, that's bullshit. Let's go and dance. So they end up dancing.
Which, by the way, is honestly the most awkward white people dance I think I've ever seen.
It is, but it's also kind of glorious in the fact that there's no like hesitation or nervousness about it. They just go full in.
Yeah, just like, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah, it's fucking great, and that's another great meme. So they end up coming back to her house, and he's like sorting himself out in the bathroom. He's like, okay, I'm gonna tell her, great, it was a great night, I'm heading home. Meantime, she's in the living room. She's dancing to this song she put on.
Yeah.
Finds this heroin in his coat pocket, and she.
She does it, doesn't she? And then she like, it turns out it's whatever it is, it's bad shit.
She ODs because she's already been taking drugs that night. And he comes out of the bathroom. He's like, "Oh shit!" She's lying on the floor, blood coming out of her nose, frothing at the mouth. So he takes her to Drug Jesus. And Drug Jesus is like, oh fuck, what the hell are you bringing someone here for? It's the boss's wife? Okay, fuck, we gotta do something. They have this comedy scene where they're running around looking for an adrenaline shot. Neither of them know how to administer adrenaline.
Yeah, which, by the way, that they did actually have the proper way to administer it. Like, if somebody is having some kind of, well, an event like that, where their heart's stopping because... So, either because of a stimulant or because of a depressant, you do want to administer some sort of... you want to administer it right to the heart. And the reason being is that adrenaline will then stimulate the muscle cells of the heart to make it start beating again.
Yeah, and I think... Like, okay, I don't know a great deal about adrenaline, but the fact that they stuck in, that adrenaline went straight to her heart, and she just fucking shot up. And I'm pretty sure that is actually how it works. I mean, I could be wrong.
It is. No, you're right.
Yeah. And she's like still got this fucking giant needle coming out of her chest.
The reason that they put it into the heart specifically is because it's immediate.
Yeah. And, so she's kind of taken back to her house eventually. Very out of it.
By the way, I love the scene of the two of them driving back to the house where she's in like the passenger seat and he's in the main seat. She's like all kinds of disheveled and fucked up, and so's he because they've both. Well, she almost died and he's worried as fuck, and it's just all like when they were driving to the date, there was all this sexual tension, and then when they're driving back to the house in that scene, it's just like. The juxtaposition of those two scenes, I loved.
God, that should be like a before and after kind of.
Yes. Oh my god, somebody should make that meme.
Yeah. Like, exactly what I was And yes, they get back to the house, they do a hilarious joke which I actually thought was quite funny.
Mm.
The ketchup scene. Anyway,
No, come on. You gotta say it in the
okay, so
the podcast.
it's like built up for ages for like half an hour in the film, and she's like, "Oh, there's this joke that I have to tell. A family of tomatoes are walking up a hill, and the mother and father tomato are getting a bit far ahead from the child. So the father turns around to the child, squeezes him, and says, 'Catch up.'"
It is the daddest of dad jokes. Like, it's so
But it's pretty good.
Anyway.
So that happens. Sorry, go on, Joe, take it.
From there. So I believe at this point, doesn't it go back to the boxer dude, right?
Yeah, I think it goes to him. That's when he has the childhood memory.
Yeah, so from this point, it goes back to the boxer man who was Butch. Yeah, exactly. Played by the fuck is his name? Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. Yeah, I instantly recognized him. Also, the scene you're about to describe, the character that walks onto the set when he's a child. I was like, when he was in the background, I was like, I literally leant forward, and then Alicia just behind me went, "It's him."
Fucking Christopher Walken.
Christopher fucking Walken. The moment he starts talking, it's like there's no one who has that voice.
Christopher Walken is one of the... I fucking love him as an actor. Like, every single movie I've seen him in, he's just been epic. Anyway, so Christopher Walken shows up. It's a flashback to Bruce Willis's past, Butch, his past. And Christopher Walken is like a comrade of his father, like another soldier. His father clearly died in whatever war it was, and he leans down and he hands him a pocket watch, right? Or not a watch, but like it was a watch head, like the head of an actual like wristwatch or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's explaining the story, and he's like, this me and your father, we were both. I can't do a Christopher Walken impression. I really want to, but I wish I don't think I can. We were in this internment camp, and I can't do it. Anyway, and so he explains.
Just leave it at that. The internment camp.
He explains that his father stuck the watch up his ass to save himself, to make sure it wasn't
not the
gone.
whole story. Fuck me.
And then no, we already talked about sexual misconduct in this podcast.
Well, no, okay, so the watch was originally his great-grandfather's.
It was his great-grandfather. Okay, I skipped a few steps, but...
Okay, fine, whatever.
But the funny bit was the fact that his father saved the watch by sticking it up his own ass, and then Christopher Walken, after his father died, saved the watch by sticking it up his ass.
No, Christopher Walken didn't stick it up his.
No, he did.
Did he?
He did. He says it in that scene.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
And so that was like that's the joke, is that like it's like, oh, here, have this family heirloom that's been up two men's ass.
Anyway,
so it's established this is a very like a priceless thing. And anyway, so the Butch, the boxer, he doesn't throw the match as he was supposed to. He, in fact, wins the match, and then now has to get out of town. Because he's made a ton of money, like, illicitly, but he's crossed this big criminal guy, and so he goes back, and he meets up with his primary love interest, who is the Frenchest woman that I've ever seen.
I want to say, I think their relationship was really, really sweet, and
no, I don't deny that. I'm just saying she's very French.
But in fact, I'll save it for the part when you get to it. Never mind, go.
Anyway, so they get together and they take off. They're gonna go over state lines. They're gonna run away. They're gonna be together. What have you. And then he finds out that she didn't grab the watch. Like, she grabbed all his other stuff. She forgot the watch, and he cannot leave without the watch that was up his father's ass. And so he's got to go back for that watch. And so he goes back, and he goes through his stuff, gets back in his car, and as he's driving back...
Whoa.
Sorry, did I skip something?
John Travolta?
Oh, right! Yeah, no, John Travolta's in the house. Sorry, I completely forgot about this.
Yeah.
It's such a... It's kind of passed over so quickly in the movie that I didn't
But it's such a main character.
It is...
Also, what fucking annoyed me so much? Well,
Yeah.
there's two things in that scene. First of all, he's just had this incredibly tense, walk through this building. He finally finds the gold watch. He's like, oh, it was so hard, I'll put some fucking toast on. What the fuck?
There's a lot of contrivance in this movie.
The second thing, who leaves their automatic SMG when they're waiting for someone on a kitchen table while they take a shit?
So, I agree with you 100%, but I think the logic, movie-wise, is that this has become such a casual day job to him that it's the same thing of I don't know, you don't take your wallet into the shitter with you, right? Necessarily.
I mean, just
if
having
you're at home,
so yeah.
If you're at a home, you're just okay, I'll put my car keys down on the counter, and I go take a shit, right? He's same sort of logic. I personally, no. If I was in a place that I thought was a potentially hostile environment, I would not go take a shit without a pistol.
I would have it fucking aiming at the door while... Anyway.
I agree. I'm with you. He didn't do that. So
No.
John Travolta is apparently in this guy's house, which we've spoiled now, because I forgot about it and then Blue reminded me. He gets his watch, finds an SMG, a silenced SMG, on the countertop, picks it up, and then kicks open the bathroom door or something to do with the bathroom. The bathroom door opens. John Travolta was in there taking a shit, essentially, and Butch murks him. He mows him down with the SMG.
The toaster pings, and then he starts firing.
Yeah. So then he leaves the house, escapes with the watch and everything, meets back up with his girlfriend.
So this is the part that annoys me.
Yep, go on.
His girlfriend, that she knows there are very dangerous people that want them dead. And she is the most annoying son of a bitch. It's very clear that the tough boxer guy is we gotta go right now, grab whatever's in your hands, and we're fucking leaving.
Yeah.
And she stands next to the motorbike, just crying and stuff. And I'm just, oh my god. Just knock her out and put her on the back of the bike. It really annoyed me how she wasn't just getting
She didn't
shit
seem
done.
to understand the gravity of the situation. Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah. It's oh my god. That just annoyed me. Anyway, yeah, go on.
So, they drive away, and they get separated somehow, don't they?
No.
Well,
Oh.
Because he ends up
No,
running...
that doesn't happen until after the whole... he leaves the apartment in the car.
I'm skipping a very big phase, aren't I?
Very big part, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. This is the problem with this movie, and this is... problem, and probably one of the brilliant pieces of this movie, is there's a whole sequence of events that happen, two very complete storylines, but the movie kind of shifts them all around and puts them in different orders and tries to bring you to... So in my mind, I'm remembering how the series of events actually happen according to the original timeline, but that's something that my brain has meshed together.
Not actually in that case. In that case, you just remember him leaving one place and arriving at another, which is fair enough.
I mean, maybe I blocked out this next scene. Anyway, so on his way back to meet up with his girlfriend, he's actually stopped in the middle of the road because he runs into, boom, the guy that he fucked out of tons of cash by winning that fight.
The big boss.
What's his name? Marcellus Wallace.
Yeah.
And
Not
that
a
guy...
bitch.
Yeah, the guy who is not a bitch, according to Sam Jackson. They have a bit of a confrontation. Some stuff happens. I'm going to gloss over that because they end up in a shop, and through a contrived series of events, the shop owner and a police officer kidnap both of them, knock them out, and bring them down to essentially a gay sex dungeon.
Alright, this is the part where I'm going to have to warn everyone listening that this might not be good for sensitive ears. So
Plug your ears if you're not really wanting to hear this stuff. Essentially, so Marcellus Wallace gets taken into another room. They got like the ball gag on, and untoward things are done to him. But Bruce Willis manages to break out, get his hands on a weapon, kills
punches a gimp.
He does actually punch a gimp. That's true. He gets into another room, and in one of the most satisfying pieces of cinema I think I've ever seen, he shoots a rapist in the dick.
Well, hang on, whoa. The very funny scene before that. He goes up to the shop top, and he's like, "Oh, a knife. Oh, a machete. Oh, a chainsaw." And then he looks up, there's like a samurai sword. Like, he keeps
and then
upgrading.
He's going through all these different bladed weapons until he finds the one he wants. Yeah. But yeah, so again, I'm skipping over little nuanced bits for the sake of time, but he goes down there. He makes
peace with the boss.
He makes peace with the boss by shooting the guy that was butt-sexing him with a shotgun in the dick.
Yeah.
And that's that scene. And then he goes back to his girlfriend and all that stuff happens.
Yeah, and then they leave the country and that's them done.
Yeah. And then it jumps back in time to what happened to Sam Jackson and Travolta, which is what I was skipping to in the very beginning because I was following one timeline.
Yep.
Anyway, they escape. They leave. They're in a car with their informant guy, and they're having a bit of an argument in the car. And Travolta accidentally shoots their informant in the head.
Yeah, that really annoyed me. The moment he turned around with the gun pointing at him, I knew what was going to happen. Like, who just holds a gun, like, casually facing someone's head?
Criminals. I'm sorry. No, I...
He wasn't trying to intimidate him.
I have guns. The first thing they teach you is fucking trigger discipline. You do not put your finger on the fucking trigger unless you're, like, intending to shoot someone.
Booger hook off the bang bang switch, as some say.
I've never heard that before, but it works.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, so he ends up dying, and then their new adventure now is trying to, like, get this cleaned up. So they go and they what is it? The guy they call this, like, this very, very well dressed Italian kind of dude. The Wolf is his name.
Very famous actor.
I recognized him, but I couldn't really tell from where.
He's in, like, all the old gangster movies. I can't actually remember his name, which is tragic. But
I've probably seen him in other gangster movies before. Anyway.
He also does car insurance now.
Does he actually?
Yeah, I mean, which Alicia reminded me of.
To be fair, so does the guy that used to play Kirk.
Right, okay.
Anyway, so he cleans up the mess, gets everything, patched up, gives them some goofy clothes, and at the end of the movie, in the climax, they end up in the same fucking restaurant as the crazy couple from the very beginning of the movie, who are intending to rob the place, and they end up just basically fucking up the day of that crazy couple that are trying to rob the place.
Well, they still walk out with all the wallets.
They do, but I don't know. It's
Samuel L. Jackson's like, look, I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to leave the life. I'm trying to go the way of God because this guy almost shot me earlier. And all the bullets missed. I thought it was an act of God, and now I'm going to change my ways and walk the earth.
Yeah.
So he's like, this criminal in the diner, he's like, I really don't want to shoot you. Just take the wallets and give mine back. And then fuck off. And they do. Yeah.
And, of course, John Travolta does not, stop walking the path of a criminal, and he ends up dying. Later, in a toilet. Yeah, when he gets shot with a submachine gun.
Yeah.
It was... So I don't... We've already gone on... It's kind of convoluted. We've kind of had to go back and forth quite a few times because of, how back and forth the plot goes.
A film that I feel like has a lot of replayability.
Yeah. There are things that I feel like if I watched it a second time that I would pick up on that I didn't. There are books that I've read where when I go back and read them again, I'm like, oh, I didn't see that the first time. And I feel like this is that kind of movie.
I bet the moment your parents see this, your dad is going to be like, you missed this, you missed this.
To be fair, yes, that is accurate. And my mother is going to be like, yeah, I knew I hated that movie for a reason.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to hear about it anyway.
But no, like, I personally enjoyed the movie.
I really enjoyed it. I thought there was a lot of really great music as well that went along with it.
The music was good. The way they told the story was unique and interesting. Like, I liked the way that they had two stories that were sort of half told, and it was only once you saw the whole thing that you got, the whole picture.
The films opened up with Pump It, which I know from the Black Eyed Peas, it's one of my favourite fucking... It's just got such a good fucking rhythm to it.
Yeah.
And apparently, Leslie was saying it was like before the Black Eyed Peas released their song Pump It, so I don't know how that worked, but
it worked.
I don't know, but it was a fucking great intro.
Yeah, they were... Yeah. It was a visually appealing movie, and some things that I wrote down in my notebook while we were watching, because I always liked, when we're doing these movie nights, when I want to actually, when I know it's a movie that I'm going to want to talk a lot about during the podcast, I usually jot some stuff down. One of them was that just... Actually, I love this one. What I wrote was about the Bruce Willis's girlfriend was just, she's so fucking French, but I already said that. No, it's just like there are things about movies from that era that, like, I'm going to try to articulate this, and then we can move on, because I know you have one thing to talk about before we move to segment 3. The last thing I'm going to say is I like how they made characters in that era. Specifically how they made villains in that era.
Right.
Like, because the people who... Like, most of the... Pretty much everyone in the show is a villain. I don't think a single person in that movie was what we'd call a good person. But they... In their villainy, they weren't like black and white. They were people that you kind of sympathize with.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Everyone was multifaceted. No one was purely good or purely evil. Anyway. No, I think... Yeah, anyway. So,
sorry. Went along longer than I wanted to, but it's you now. You had something to talk about.
I have been putting off talking about Castlevania for about 2 or 3 weeks now, because it went through a big dry spell. But much like with the first season, I feel like they packed everything into 1 or 2 episodes. And holy fuck did they pack it in. So, I'm going to give you a very brief, very fast rundown of basically the whole series, because it's pretty fucking... Well, there's interesting parts throughout it, and there's a lot of funny parts. But the season I was on, I can't remember what season number it is, I think it's 3. Most of it was fucking boring. Most of it was characters that I didn't give a shit about.
Yeah.
So, there's essentially 4 different places. There's Alucard in the castle alone. There's the 2 adventurers gone off and they've come across a village.
Yeah. And isn't there the blacksmith guy that ends up in a desert?
The blacksmith dude in the desert. There's his adventure. And he's seeking retribution. And then there is the people who he's trying to seek retribution from, which is this group of ladies in a castle, and they have the other Smith basically bound and gagged in their cellar, right?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm going to go through them one at a time, because switching between them is too much. I'm going to start with the Alucard in the castle, right? Mm-hmm. He is in the castle on his own for like months, and then suddenly 2 people just turn up in the castle grounds, and they have come from Japan. They have actually broken free from a vampire who joined Dracula's council, and that vampire died. The vampire, when she was in Japan, she's like this kabuki mask, Japanese, very traditional, but she's a fucking like crazy monster.
Yeah.
And she would basically occasionally let people get through to her palace, as it were, which is like a traditional Japanese place.
Mm-hmm.
And then while they were trying to like cut her up in samurai style, she would just fucking annihilate them. Those 2 broke free, killed all the other vampires in that area, and came to Alucard for training. So he spends the entire series training them. I'm going to cut straight to the end of the series now, because that's when something actually different happens. Actually, I'm going to hold it there. And so next group of people, the 2 adventurers that went to the village, right?
Yeah.
They go to the village. It's a very plain, ordinary village. You know, poor people walking around. There's very up his own arse mayor, but he seems to be quite like strict. He gets things done. He has there's a group of monks in the village that are basically just creepy ass motherfuckers, and they look like thugs. Turns out they're a night creature from Dracula's horde a long time ago. Got into the church, mind controlled them all, turned it into a Satan church. So desanctified.
Desanctified, yeah.
Yeah, the place. And so they're trying to essentially summon Vlad Dracula back to life from hell. And now I'm going to cut to the end of the series, because it's a bunch of random crap, and I'm going to cut away from them.
Get away from the side questing.
Yeah, because like I said, it all happens at the end. Like, it all happens, so I'm leaving it at the end, and I'm going to go through it at the end. The Black Dude in the Desert, the Smith, he goes into this village. He's drinking at a waterhole. These assholes come up to him and they're like, fuck you, we're going to kill you and leave you by the roadside. He murders them all and turns them into night creatures. He's now his own boss. He's not working under Dracula anymore. He's like, right, I'm going to make a fucking army. I'm going to go to the bastards that turned on him, and I'm going to murder every one of them. Very clear-minded.
Yeah.
He goes to a big city, and he's not even looking to fight anyone, and the night creatures aren't killing anyone. He walks into a dude's shop, and the dude's like, here, have this magical mirror. There's more talking, but whatever. Like, they bond. He walks out, the guards are like, fuck you, get out of our city. And he's like, no, I want to go through your city, grab a boat, and fuck off in the other direction. And so he ends up like wiping out a bunch of them, adding more people to his horde. He gets to the dock. There's a fucking awesome captain there who's fruity as hell. And he lets them all on his boat, and he takes them to where they want to go. And the captain makes him see a bit of reason. Like, sure, he wants to kill all the humans in the world, but what are you going to do afterwards, kind of thing.
Yeah.
He makes the
asking
Smith
for
think.
some vision.
Yeah. And so they get to the location. He comes across a village that's completely empty. There's one crazy lady in it, and she's like a witch. And she says, all the people of this village have been taken to another village further down the road, where a mad wizard has enslaved them all and is becoming incredibly powerful. He takes his forces, which are now pretty large, because he's basically been killing all the French people as he goes along the path. And don't smile.
I'm sorry, thank you. I can't help it. I'm sorry. You said they were killing the French people.
He gets to this city, and there's like these like mindless zombie people everywhere. And he's killing them as many as he can with his own knife, because when he stabs them, they turn to night creatures. He replenishes his own horde. And there are just fucking hundreds of thousands of people in the city. And they can, with the mind control thing, it's like the circle around their heads, they can even like defy gravity and shit. And he clumps them up into a massive fucking ball, the wizard that is, from afar. And then, I don't know, it's kind of dumb what he does. Whatever, there's this massive ball of 100,000 people, and he's like throwing them like rocks at the... Yeah.
I mean, even the best series have moments of contrivance.
Yeah, it's still a really fucking badass scene. And I just realised this is actually part of the end episode. So, switching away. The bitches in the castle. They're trying to make an army that can basically take over the world. There's 4 of them. 2 of them are in love with each other. They're all women. Then there's this like diplomatic chick. So there's a war chick, a money chick, a plans chick, and a money chick, plans chick, war chick, money chick.
So what you're telling me is there's a harem of experts.
And diplomat chick. And the diplomat chick goes to the half beaten to death Smith that the plan chick brought to them. And she's basically like, okay, we want you to make an army for us, but you hate our guts because we basically just dragged you halfway across the world against your will, treated you like shit, and now we put you in a prison cell. So throughout the whole series, she's basically getting in his pants. She puts like a lead on him and takes him around the castle occasionally, so he can like see the outside and breathe air.
Okay.
He gives her she gives him a better cage. She gives him a book, and then she's like, "Oh, I have feelings for you," and then okay, that's the last season. All right, so finally, it gets not the last season, the last episode. Guess the last episode, right? Start with Alucard in Dracula's castle, right? Alucard has the 2 trainees. He's trained them up really well. They go into his bedroom while he's like just dozing, and they're like, "Now for your reward." And this like brother and sister basically strip and start fucking him. It's so out of Left Wing that you don't really see it coming, but it's really creepy. They just like start fucking him. Anyway, so they're doing that. I know you want to say something. I'll
Go on.
I'll let you after I finish the scene. They start fucking him, and then he like they like finish, and then they both stick these bracelets on an arm each, and he basically gets restrained, and it like burns his skin, and he's like, "Oh, why the fuck?" They hold a couple of swords over his chest. They're like, "You didn't tell us all the secrets. Now we're going to kill you." And then he uses his magic sword to basically slit both their throats.
Wait, wasn't he restrained? Like, what happened?
He was completely restrained. He has a magic sword, which is established from the first time.
Is it just like a psychic thing, like move the sword
it's a
around
psychic
with
thing.
his... Oh,
it's
okay,
like this massive, great big long sword, and it just went straight across the necks.
Fucking
so they die.
dumbasses.
I don't think he ever told them that he had that sword, but yeah. So that happens, and then he basically becomes like his father. He starts hating humans. He sticks both. I mean, he's just made love to them. He had a lot of feelings for them, and they literally tried to kill him.
And they betrayed him, yeah.
Yeah, so he sticks them on poles out the front side of his castle.
For reference, I just finished reading through the chapter where Darrow and Roke had a confrontation for the last time.
I see.
So it's fresh in my mind. I'm just
the betrayal.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought you were going to say that Roke fucked Darrow. So anyway, back to it. Okay, so the scene at the Priory with the 2 heroes. They get there. The monster summons a portal to hell. A bunch of weird fucking demons come through. They basically blow up all the demons in a really flashy fashion. This is... Okay, so all of these scenes that I'm talking about right now, they didn't just happen like the Alucard thing and then this happened. They all happened at the same time, right? So imagine you're watching demons having their asses blown off, and then it switches to Alucard having his dick sucked.
You know, you self-censor at weird intervals.
Do I?
I'm just saying. Some of the things that you've muted yourself on earlier, and then you say Alucard got his dick sucked. But okay, anyway. but I understand what you're saying. The juxtaposition is a bit extreme.
It's very rough, if you excuse the term.
Yeah.
So yes, they're like cutting off demons' heads and all that stuff.
Exactly. And how rough? I mean, how rough does Alucard like it?
They see Dracula through the portal to hell, and Dracula reaches out and doesn't quite make it to the portal. Portal closes. They save the day. they then find out that the mayor, who's like the super strict mayor, bit of an asshole, but very good mayor, right?
Yeah.
But they then find out over the years he's basically been, as a sport, luring children into a pitfall spike trap and keeping their shoes in his house.
The fuck?
Yeah, and also, by the way, like, the whole village is absolutely fucked. Everyone's dead.
No, the mayor needs to go into a fucking wood chipper. What the fuck is...
The mayor just got straight up stabbed by a crazy priest. And, yeah, so they burn his house down, and then they just leave. They're fucking depressed. They kind of have resentment for each other a bit now, because they just had witnessed this horrible thing. The Smith dude in the Wizardland. He basically just...
When you talked about this before, I actually really liked that character.
Yes.
Because, I mean, he may have been, like, crazy and on the side of a fucking, you know...
he's not crazy, he's just
not
got very
crazy.
strong religious beliefs.
Yeah, let me rephrase that. He's a fanatic.
Yeah.
But he at least seemed to live by a code, which was more than a lot of the characters that you've talked about in the show seem to do.
And he's got quite a nice personality, even though he's a horrible person. So he's like killing all these people, and he's making up his way up the tower. He's converting them as he's going. But he keeps getting hit because like all of his night creatures are dead. It's basically him against the hordes.
So, I've said this before. Like I can very much respect like a good villain if they're well written. Like there's something enjoyable about reading about somebody who is evil, but in kind of a well written manner. It's one of the reasons that, like, when I was talking about Invincible, that I enjoyed the character of Omni-Man. Because he was, like, he did some horrible things, like to try and convince his son to join him in this takeover of the Earth. Like, he killed thousands of people. But he was a very well-written and nuanced character. To the point where, at the end, when you saw, like, in that series, when I saw him kind of come to a point where he was questioning everything about his mission.
Yeah.
It was believable that, like, okay, this is a human, well, not a human being, but like, because he was technically an alien, but still.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But he was a human character.
He had emotion, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's because I'm already aware of the time. I don't want to.
No, it's fine. But I'm wondering if the Smith, kind of the way you've described him, kind of struck me as a similar character, where he was a fanatical person, but he seemed, again from your description, to be someone who, at least, you can kind of follow along with his journey.
Well, that's the thing. He's fighting his way through literally a city of quite literal zombies. And so you very easily feel... And he's getting cut up, and he's like gasping, and he's barely making his way up this tower.
Yeah.
You can definitely see him as the good guy, even though you know from what I've told you...
he's a bad person, but you still find yourself rooting for him.
So he gets to the top of the tower, and there's this old, decrepit-looking man wearing a bunch of like king's jewellery and cloaks and stuff.
Yeah.
And he tries to mind control Isaac, that's his name, not Smith. And Isaac is like... Basically, he just manages to break free, and then he just stabs the old man. And then all these hundreds of thousand people, like, flying outside the windows in that giant fucking orb, they just fucking drop. Like, 200 meters.
So it's like they're puppets that strings have been cut.
Yeah, so, like, they suddenly return to consciousness 200 meters in the air.
Gotcha.
And so there's something like this rain of humans. And this is the part where they very sharply remind you that he is an asshole. He walks outside and he sits down and he's like, this has been a good night.
So this is the point where, like, I have just said this guy was a pretty cool dude, and then that.
Well, the thing is, so he came here partially because that's like 100,000 people. He doesn't need living people. He needs dead people that he can turn into.
He can turn into ghouls, essentially. Yeah.
He just got an army dropped from the sky from 200 meters.
Yeah.
And so he makes all these fast night creatures, and then he sets off. That was all happening during the fucking and the fighting the priory.
He's gathering an army. In the meantime, Alucard is getting laid.
It's nice to know that Alucard's not fussy between men and women, though. Anyway, very forward-thinking vampire.
Yeah. How progressive.
Finally, the other thing that was happening at the same time, the evil women vampires with the slave in the basement. So she's doing all this stuff to get him onto her side, and in the end she's like, come to me. And so they start fucking. This is another fucking scene happening at the same time as these fights.
Sorry, can we stop for a second? Is HBO trying to... Or, sorry, is Netflix trying to become HBO? Like, because HBO has, like, a certain, like, sex and violence quota that I feel like they need to try and meet. And lately, I feel like Netflix is trying to match them or surpass them.
Well, I feel like it's like they got... You can only buy 1 day of season pass kind of thing, and so they're like, right, on this day, we're going to have as much gratuitous nudity as we possibly can. There were so many, like, they have not censored those tits at all. There's a lot of stuff. The only thing they don't show it is directly that they don't show the junk.
So,
but they are fucking.
I'm just saying, I've never talked about it on the podcast, but it is a show that I really, really like.
Yeah.
That Netflix put out was Altered Carbon.
Right.
The first season of it. It's kind of a cyberpunk sci-fi dystopia.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix. There's full-on, like... There's full frontal nudity for men and women and some pretty graphic violence.
Okay. So...
Which is, again, this... I'm just saying, what you're saying now is reinforcing an opinion that I had... that Netflix is trying to become the new HBO.
I see. While this is happening, he's like almost finished, and then she's like, "Tell me that you'll be loyal to me forever," kind of thing, and we can run away together, that kind of thing. And so, just as he's about to say, "I'll be loyal to you forever," she slips a ring on his finger, and when he says that, basically, like, blood starts gushing out of him in every direction. But it's like magical blood, so he's not actually dead. And basically now he has to do everything she says. He can't run away from her. He can't do anything that's against her orders. If anything like that happens, and this is her words, not mine, it will feel like he's just shat his heart out.
Hey, that is a stupid fucking line. She needs to think of some better metaphors. How old is this? Isn't she immortal? Like, at this point...
Yeah, she's a vampire. He's a human.
Yeah, she should have... She'd had, like, thousands of years. Think of a better fucking metaphor.
I mean, she did it more eloquently than I did, but... There you go. So, yeah, that's kind of, like, all of that. Like, 90% of what I just said happened in one episode.
So, And I'll keep my responses short because I did interrupt you a few times to say some of my thoughts.
Yeah.
But essentially, depending on the plot line you're talking about, there's a couple where I'm like, oh, that sounds really cool. I want to watch that. There are a couple where I'm like, that sounds fucking dumb. Why would I ever watch that? And there are a couple that are just, like, kind of interesting.
Yeah. I would certainly recommend watching the first season of Castlevania. I think that's really good.
Ironically, the one that I of what you just described, the one that I had the least interest in was Alucard.
Yeah, because it doesn't really go anywhere.
It's like, oh, I'm alone in this castle. Let's have a three-way, and then I kill these people.
I mean, there's a lot of emotions riding on it and stuff, but yeah,
Which,
it's kind of weird because they're kind of like kids compared to him. Like, he's even like way bigger than them, and he's a lot older.
So, to be fair, with a vampire, you really can't pull that card because that Alucard. But to be fair, like, he's immortal, so of course he's going to be older than them. But
yeah,
the only plot line that you described just now that I actually gave a remote shit about was the blacksmith.
To be fair, though, that's probably because I'm biased because I really liked him, so I probably described it with more
You
flavor.
may have described it really well, so I think at this point I'm probably going to have to watch the series for myself and see if I agree with your assessment.
I'd definitely say that up until the point where Dracula dies, it is a really, really good. Like, I'd say every single episode is worth watching. There's one series left I haven't seen yet.
I haven't. So I've finished some stuff pretty recently. So I'm in need of a new show to watch. So I think I may pick this up.
Nice.
You've given me enough incentive to actually take a peek at it. At least to try and juxtapose your impression of it with how I will see it.
Yeah, it took me like 3 weeks to get to a point where I felt like there was enough content that I could talk about it. But that was just this season 3, so first 2 seasons on point.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've got one last segment to go, which is going to be our retrospective, our look back on what we've done in this podcast over the last year. But in the meantime, thank you all for listening. This is going to be the end of segment 2 of the TMCJ podcast. Thank you all for listening. You'll hear us again momentarily for segment 3. Welcome back to the TMCJ podcast. We are on segment 3, our wild card segment, and this week it truly is wild. We are on our 52nd episode, which means we have been doing this for an entire year. And we thought, as our wildcard segment this week, we would kind of go through the old playlist that we have and take a peek at some of the old videos that we had put up, like some of the topics that we talked about in previous segments, and kind of do a little bit of a retrospective.
Yeah, and the ways we used to do things a bit differently. Also, the way that we used to stick to half-hour segments a lot more strictly.
Yeah, we were a lot more, well, I mean, look at episode 8. That was 2 hours. Come on.
True, but that only means, 10 minutes extra. Well, yeah, I suppose that's pretty bad.
We deviated pretty quickly. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So, one of the first things is when we first started doing this podcast, we did it in test segments. So our first 3 podcasts were only a half hour long. So first one was let's talk about. Actually, our first segment was an hour long.
Characters, yeah.
Yeah, overpowered. Yeah, look at episode 1, part 1 and 2. Yeah, see it?
Oh, I see. Yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant just the part 1 part. Yeah.
Overpowered characters, and I remember one of the things at the time that was pissing me off was, I think it was Captain Marvel, actually.
I know we talked about Superman.
Oh, yes,
Batman
that was another one.
Better.
Superman fucking pissed me off, too. A character that has absolutely no weakness and no vulnerability is boring as hell.
Yeah, that was our first topic of the whole thing.
Yeah. And then number 2, we said let's talk about movies, but I have no idea what movies we actually talked about.
Yeah, so you can see in the one afterwards that we watched
Beetlejuice.
That's the one. That was Alicia's choice. So before that, it must have been a film that you'd gone with. I mean, we've been watching Disney films for quite a while before that.
Yeah, that's true. And honestly, Beetlejuice is a movie that I'd heard a ton about, but had never actually watched.
Yeah, same kind of. And that was the first custom thumbnail.
Well, honestly, it was one of our first real movie nights. We'd done a few before that, but
yeah,
I think that was the time where we actually formalized it. And then episode 4, the first full podcast.
Yeah, back when we put separate segments and then the full segment out as separately.
Yeah.
What was that? Monopoly.
Lord.
Oh god, that was
Lord Farquaad.
Yes, we talked about Shrek. We talked about when I played Monopoly with Alicia every day for months.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not consecutively, I should say. And what's the image on the right? I can't really see it from this.
I can't either. Actually, it was a time ago, and I don't want to zoom in on it because if I click on it, then it's going to start the
playing
video. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, then we watched Blues Brothers for number 5. That was the. I remember because we were in a game of Rainbow Six Siege and we were talking about the shit that.
Oh, sorry, it's Frodo,
For,
or not Frodo. His dad or his
Bilbo.
uncle. Bilbo. Thank you.
So probably the Hobbit we were talking about.
Yeah, we're probably talking about the Hobbit.
So we were playing Rainbow Six Siege and we were talking about how Fortnite was pissing on Apple by putting the bad apple in their game, the skin.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Japanese flag was.
It was because so a few months before that started, like I had gone to a work trip to Japan in February of 2020, and so we talked about like some of my experiences there. We talked about some of the things I'd seen. Yeah.
Okay.
And also Blues Brothers because we watched that movie.
Yes, and I didn't realize it was the super extended cut, so it took like twice as long.
God, where they had like 18 million cars crashing.
Yeah. Then we had Helsing. Another man. I've watched a lot of vampire shit this year.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
Helsing and Donkey from Shrek again.
Yeah, I guess we talked about Shrek again.
And Aliens.
Aliens. The Aliens was because of shit. What was it? That was when we were talking about like conspiracy theories, I think.
Yeah. Actually, that's why you have that little eyeball there too, because we were talking about conspiracies.
I think that was the that book that I fucking read, the Inside the Mind kind of thing, where this crazy lady talked about like talking to people and finding out their past lives, and some of them like was a royalty who talked to an alien and they beamed them up to another fucking planet or something. It was some weird shit. I didn't even finish that book. It was both boring and ridiculous at the same time. Yeah.
So I'm going through so the next one was our very first US versus UK discussion.
It was, and we had the US versus UK person.
Actually, that's
Thomas Shelby.
Well, yeah, because the other two topics of that was
Passengers.
Passengers, great movie. Still love that movie. And then Thomas Shelby from the Peaky
Blinders.
Yeah. By order of the Peaky Blinders. Fucking love Arthur Shelby. Not the guy in the thumbnail, but
no. I mean, he's also fucking cool.
I've actually been, while I've been playing Dyson Sphere, I've actually been rewatching a bit of Peaky Blinders.
Oh, nice.
I've been kind of like skipping through it to get to the parts that I enjoy, but
yeah. Like there's certainly seasons that are dips. We've talked about that throughout podcasts.
Oh yeah, multiple times.
Okay, surprisingly on topic. Does that say mortality?
Hold on. I'm going to zoom in on here so you can see it better.
Yeah. Is that a penguin?
Yeah. Can you see it better now?
I think that says morality. Apparently I wasn't too great at thumbnails. Oh wait, no, I skipped one. Oh my god.
You did. You jumped over this one. So this is the one where like you see you have the female Commander Shepard from Mass Effect.
Oh yeah.
A sandworm and a bat.
Yeah, so the one was from Dune. I was talking about the upcoming film. I don't know if that's come out yet or not.
Yeah, I don't know either. I haven't seen it.
I feel like
I did enjoy the Doom book, like the original one. But the Mass Effect one was because I had just recently, at the time, beaten the entire Mass Effect trilogy again.
Right, okay. And the bat?
I haven't got a fucking clue about the bat, honestly.
I had been watching, I don't know if it was around that time, but I was watching a YouTube channel with these adorable bats. And they are pretty fucking cute. That could have just been, I could have been talking about that YouTube channel. Who knows?
It's entirely plausible.
Yeah.
All right. But the next one, the one that you're going with morality, that's because we were talking about, we just watched Venom.
Oh, that's what the thing at the end is. I couldn't see what it was. It's the mask of Venom.
Yeah, it's a Venom one with fucking Tom Hardy eating people.
Yeah, God, that was such a good film. I should watch that again.
I don't remember what the wolf is there for, though.
It's a dragon.
Is it a dragon?
I think that was me talking about Monster Hunter.
Oh, that's possible, yeah.
Because they do have some weird fucking concepts in that game.
God, it's crazy thinking this was only a year back.
Yeah, I mean, some of it feels like longer, some of it feels like a lot shorter. So next was A Knight's Tale. I
The
made you
Knight's
guys
Tale,
watch that.
also great movie. Fucking great movie.
Yeah, very old, but very good.
And probably one of the first times we decided to shit on social media, Twitter and Facebook there in the thumbnail.
Yep. I mean, we're assuming that we shat on them. The fact that they have their icons in the thumbnail probably means we shat on them. The cake, do you know what the cake was about?
Not a fucking clue.
I might have just had a really nice dessert or something, I don't know.
I mean, keep in mind at this point, we're only on podcast 10.
This is true.
We were still playing it fast and loose at that point.
Yeah. Speaking of fast and loose, Shia LaBeouf with American football and Jesus with Great British football.
Oh, the Shia LaBeouf.
I see we're talking about Transformers, probably.
It's possible. We're talking about celebrity cringe in general. No, it may have been about... do you remember the Shia LaBeouf He Will Not Divide Us shit?
Yeah, it could have been. But I think that was more recent.
I think it was too, but...
And why was Jesus in there?
I have no idea why Jesus is in this thumbnail.
He's got shades on, because he's cool.
Oh my god, the fucking... Oh my god, and then, next one, podcast 12, the first time we do Eye of Argon. Look.
Oh yeah, it's the first Eye of Argon, holy crap. Man, that was a big one, because there was Troy,
Troy, great movie.
Film.
Great movie,
I think we split that into two parts, didn't we?
We had to, yeah, and I'm kind of disappointed because the version Netflix had was not the extended cut, and the extended cut is so much better. Like, some movies just needlessly add length when they do the extended cut. Troy did not. Troy added context and character development and all of this other fun stuff with the extended cut.
So yeah, Eye of Argon, that was fucking hilarious at the time. I need to rewatch that one. God, I feel like there's a lot I need to rewatch.
The fucking... what was it? Her emerald orbs to describe her eyes.
Yeah, the gem talk is ridiculous. And RuneScape economics, I was talking about, what was it, like Venezuela or something? And how the economics relied on RuneScape to give people jobs.
Yes! Oh my god.
Yeah, God, I talked your ear off about that, holy crap.
Honestly, I love the whole idea of, like, MMO. Earlier this podcast, we were talking about MMOs. I mean, they really do have worlds unto themselves.
Yeah, they are big money-making schemes at the end of the day.
I mean, at the end of the day, but they're more than that, though. Like, granted, the companies that make them make money off of them, but the people who play in them actually do get some amount of value from them.
Yeah, they're a whole different kind of game. Anyway, then we went to 14, then 13. So 13.
Yeah. So for some reason my YouTube playlist's fucked up. So 14 comes first. Let's.
No, that wasn't them fucking us. That was us fucking us.
Wait, was it?
Yeah, because we had to record that Halloween and put it out ASAP.
You're right, because that was when we realized that we couldn't record a special the day of and then publish. Yeah, this is okay.
So we just panicked and put it out.
The one before. So podcast 14 went out before podcast 13.
But, and here's the big but, that was the first quiz.
That's why I have the crown in the thumbnail.
That's why you got the crown. And that was so at that point, and for a while, you'll notice, I only ever put our faces in the quiz ones.
Yeah.
In the end, I was just like, fuck it, it's more fun sometimes just
to have our faces out there, why not?
Yeah. Also, it's a very stylized thumbnail, which I actually, looking back at it, I really do quite like it.
It stands out. It does stand out.
Yeah, but it did take me like 3 times the amount of time, so I think I got lazy. But
I mean, I can sympathize, having done thumbnails now.
Yeah. But no, God, that was a lot of new stuff in that one.
But then podcast 13, which came out after podcast 14.
Yeah, I can't remember what shade PS5 were throwing, but
Well, I think it was one of those things that like they were not available anywhere.
Yeah, I think the system just wasn't very good at that point. Like there was a lot of bugs with it or something.
Yeah, I can't really remember it either. I mean, at this
I
point,
haven't got a PS5, so I can't really talk.
yeah,
but
neither do I. Again, even if I had the ability to get one, an Xbox guy.
Oh,
I've got an Xbox Series X.
it's because the fucking controller would like even when it wasn't on, it would have the microphone on so it could listen to you.
Oh, was that? Oh, that was. I remember that.
Yeah.
God.
Again,
the Fox is because the British were allowing fox hunting again, I think, or something like that.
Oh yeah, no, there was like an article on it, and some people getting outraged.
Yeah, yeah. The frog is obvious because it was that we watched
Princess
Disney.
and the Frog.
Yeah, yeah. Great movie. By the way.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna say that a lot, but I think we've been pretty lucky with the movies we've watched.
Yeah, I mean, it's rare that the format we use to do movie night has actually been very helpful. Like we are like one of us chooses a movie that some of us have not seen, and then goes like, "I really like this movie. Let's all watch it together."
Yeah.
And because of that, we usually end up with good movies.
And then we also talked about how early is it to start eating mince pies and talking about Christmas songs.
Yeah, which I remember intense disagreement on.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, because you didn't think... Well, you don't even have mince pies, so it's kind of
we don't... You're right, we don't have mince pies.
Yeah.
But my personal opinion is that I'm perfectly fine with festive stuff happening any time of the year. I'll sing Christmas songs in July.
Like, I really like mince pies, but I don't think they should start until December the 1st.
It's July right now. Though the weather outside is...
Thank you, we're good.
Alright, so next one.
Sweeney Todd, what a movie.
I fucking love Sweeney Todd. Dude, I did that as a Halloween costume for 2 years straight. I love that movie
I've
so
seen the
fucking
pictures.
much. Yeah.
Politics could be anything, honestly.
Yeah, at that point in time, who knows? I don't remember where that went. At the time, though, that probably would have been like late November.
What, American politics or British politics, do you think? Probably American, because nothing interesting happens in England.
Yeah, well, I mean, not normally. Some interesting stuff happens there.
Yeah, very occasionally. And we talked about endings for like games with that.
Which is why
Lee.
Why the Walking Dead shows up there. But Sweeney Todd's so fucking awesome.
It is, holy fuck.
Dude,
the soundtrack on its own is... Oof.
I could watch that movie. Like, I have, personally, when I've had to do, like, work around my house or something like that, I've put Sweeney Todd on the TV and just, like, had it playing in my apartment. And then...
You're a big fan of the macabre, though. Like, the depressing humour.
Yeah, no, tragedies make me happy.
Yeah.
I think my emotions are wired in reverse.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing for Halloween. I don't know if I'd just watch it on any other day.
Next one.
Vikings. Oh god, that bored me for so many weeks.
I loved Vikings. I still, by the way, I still haven't finished the series. I still haven't finished the series, but I fucking loved the series when I was watching it up till the point. I think I started to stall out around season 6 or 7, maybe.
Yeah, you kind of came back to it a bit later, though.
I did, but I still haven't finished it. I need to, but I haven't.
I think the smartwatches thing was like basically having a phone on your watch now.
No, smartwatches are fucking dumbass technology. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we weren't massive fans of them, and they're so expensive now. And probably shitting on Twitter. No, that was us telling people that we had a Twitter account.
We do have a Twitter account, which you have access to, and as far as I know, we haven't used in a while.
No, because it's not getting any traction, so I'm
to be
putting
fair,
it on the back burner.
Twitter is a dying platform.
Yeah.
We should probably...
shit on it so much that we probably shouldn't be on it.
It's like, hey, we hate Twitter. Check out our Twitter.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, not everyone is an asshole on Twitter. It's just the things that get popular on Twitter are asshole things.
Yeah. Yeah, the
So you only
things...
see the assholes.
It's the reason that... Oh my god. What was trending on Twitter the other day? It was, Oh, that's what it was. The N-word was trending on Twitter the other day.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine that. Like, there's some weird words that get picked up in the algorithms. Anyway.
Yeah, but let's not dwell on that. Alright, so next...
This was a big one for me. I had a fucking heart-to-heart on this one.
What, the bullying one?
Yeah. I can't remember what the original context for it was, but I remember we went into great detail on like online bullying and things.
So, and this is one that I have very complicated opinions on.
Yeah.
Like, if... I think that overall, like, for lack of a better term, soft bullying is a good thing.
To thicken the skin.
Exactly. It's like, it's better for you to be exposed to a bunch of things as a kid so that your immune system builds up so that it's stronger as an adult. It's the same sort of thing. Honestly, it's the same as working out. You lift
Don't get
weight...
me wrong. Sorry, I'll leave you.
No, all I was going to say is you lift weights so you build up muscle so that, you're good when it happens.
Yeah. I am a full advocate of tough love to build up your immune system, but I don't think bullying is something that helps. I think bullying is something that breaks you down as opposed to building you up.
And I think that's the important distinction to make, is the difference between bullying and just like general, for lack of a better word, like emotional jostling.
And somehow I fit Payday 2 masks and Godhood in there.
Well, you've been playing that game quite a bit.
Yeah, Godhood does a fresh game. I didn't actually end up playing that as much.
I do have to say, and I don't
concept.
remember if I talked about it during this podcast, but one of my favorite one of the things that I consider the most valuable thing that my father ever taught me growing up was like how to fall properly. Like, and I don't mean in some metaphorical sense. I mean literally fall.
Yeah.
Like he taught me how to fall and not like injure myself. And I consider, like, to take that to a metaphorical sense, I think that's something that every kid should learn. Like, every kid should learn how to take a hit, how to fall down, and how to get back up without, being seriously injured. Whether it's metaphorical, emotional, or physical.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Well, then your face is in the next one, so that must have been the next quiz.
Yeah, can we talk about, for a while, I was the only person who showed up in, like, with my beautiful face.
I didn't have a camera at all for the longest time. I just didn't have a camera. And I was also kind of on the fence whether I wanted us to be, like, live. Don't get me wrong, my face is on the channel anyway, because it's in your old holiday videos.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a different thing, because this is specifically for the podcast. But it ended up happening later when I had a good camera and,
Well, and to be fair, like, I have a similar concern. Like, I work for a company that is in Massachusetts, which means that it has certain opinions, and if I say anything that's a bit controversial and I am connected,
you don't want it to affect that,
yeah. There's a possibility that I could get fired. So, like, I have a hesitation about having my face on things, but at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck.
No, so that was Thanksgiving quiz. So I think this was when I was just quizzing you.
Yes, we hadn't gotten to the point where I did a quiz for you yet.
Because, I mean, the first time you didn't even know it was coming, and I suddenly was like, by the way...
And you popped it.
20 questions.
But again, this is the magical time when we're still thinking up new segments and...
Yeah, which we still do.
I mean,
God knows.
the book...
This is a new segment.
This is. And honestly, the book review segments are new. Like, us talking about Red Rising,
Yeah, I mean, it started with the taco making.
It did start with the dinosaurs. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah. So this was a really short one.
Yeah, the one after that. Yeah, no, it wasn't that long a pod. I mean, to be fair, our target length is an hour and a half.
Yeah, I know. So technically to go, but like the moment it doesn't say an hour 40 or above, I'm like, that was a short
one. we tend to miss that target quite a bit, but
yeah. So this was talking about old Pokemon cards.
Old Pokemon cards, and actually we're talking about Boondock Saints.
I keep wanting to say Boston Saints still.
It's the most Boston of the Boston movies.
Yeah. Why is Naruto there?
I'm pretty sure we were talking about Naruto too.
Yeah, but like, okay.
Well, no. What I mean is, like, I think we were talking about. I don't remember.
Because I'd played Ninja Storm this year.
You had been playing a lot of the Naruto video game, and I was talking about the Naruto anime, and we were kind of talking about the storyline.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Cyberpunk in the next one. Having a big one for you.
We were just going to gloss over Boston time. But yeah.
Sorry, is there anything interesting in Boston you'd like to tell me about, Coz?
Yeah, we threw your fucking tea in the goddamn harbor. Yeah, Cyberpunk. It's honestly, Cyberpunk, fucking awesome game. I know it came out glitchy, and I know it didn't run on anything besides a fucking super processor, but
yeah,
I loved it. I fucking loved the game. It had its flaws. There were problems. But it was clear that it was a fucking labor of love. And I loved that game. The characters were awesome. The story was awesome. I have currently beat that game 2.5 times. And the first 2 times, I 100%ed it. It's 2 completely different characters.
Yeah, you gotta just look past the incredibly large snaggletooth. And then you can enjoy it for what it is.
I mean, to be fair, like, it also is a fun game in terms of, like, the gameplay.
Yeah.
Like,
do you remember what the other two... Sorry.
The other 2 topics?
Yeah, I do.
I don't. I see Bud Light and a dude in a suit.
So the Bud Light was that person who was like 90 years old lady, and she got coronavirus, and she got through it, and she was like, fuck yes, had a Bud Light.
Okay.
Something like that. And it was just a badass moment where this old lady was like, fuck you, coronavirus. Not this time.
Old people are fucking epic.
And James Corden, he was up there because he played I can't remember if it was a gay or a trans person, and everyone exploded because he was a
not one of those things. It doesn't matter.
And yeah, so they're saying it's
these
like
days, if you don't have the same fingernail length as somebody who you're supposed to be playing, people get pissy. So
yeah, I assume it was a transgender thing.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, it's just some people taking it too far. Christopher, that was the first one that you quizzed me, I think.
It was the end of the year. I mean,
yeah, that's why
we're coming up on it. Yeah, so the next one, Podcast 21, the Christmas special.
Yeah, Elf on a Shelf with cocaine, because... Was that? No, The Godfather wasn't for another 2 episodes.
No, it wasn't, but I had no idea what Elf on a Shelf was.
Didn't you?
No, like, I knew that it existed, but my family never did it.
Well, mine didn't either. I can't remember how we got to that.
Then we've got you as the Blue Bear as the Santa Claus, because I did give you a Christmas quiz.
Yeah.
And then we have Scrooge McDuck, because I don't know why.
I can't remember. It was just very Christmassy things. I'm sure there are good reasons for it all.
Alright, and then the New Year one.
Yes. With some... What's that? Rise of Industry was the Factorio game.
Lord of the Rings, because I had been watching the Lord of the Rings movies again over the holiday.
Yeah, some kind of fitness. Oh, the New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, which, by the way, I've been keeping to my New Year's resolution pretty well.
Yeah, I did mine for quite a while. I mean, I'm still kind of keeping fit. I'm just doing anaerobic as opposed to aerobic exercise now.
So my New Year's resolution, which I will say right now, I have
Yeah.
been. My resolution was that I would do and log something productive every morning before I had breakfast.
Yeah.
And currently I'm on day 205 of that
And
resolution.
I have not had breakfast.
And I have still not eaten. But no, so I did give some restrictions on that. It was like at least 4 days a week.
Right.
But I've actually exceeded that most weeks. So for most weeks, I've been 6 days a week. I do something productive before breakfast, and I log what it is in my notebook. I think there's only been a couple weeks where I've gone below that, and that's been like 5 days a week or something like that. But
Yeah.
overall, it's been a pretty positive thing in my life. Like I'm maintaining my condo better. Like I'm feeling. It's one of those things that I feel like it's very important, especially when we're kind of locked inside for this amount of time. Shall we continue?
Yeah, the original, the first long story short.
Oh, the very first one that we
We haven't
had.
done that in a while, actually. I don't think.
The long story short, it's been a while. Well, I mean, I think we overused it a bit.
Yeah, I mean, we were doing it once a month, I think. We
Yeah,
should have been.
For a while.
Tony Montana there, of course, Scarface.
God, I didn't realize Scarface was that long ago. Oh, and then here we
Yeah.
go. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the one right below
Yeah, I
that.
know, I know, you have.
The-
And then we talked about branding in movies and how, like, some people just go fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Go on, Kaiser.
And then comes the Dino Tacos.
No, that wasn't the tacos. That was
No,
fishing.
used fishing.
Yeah,
Fishing was yours. Tacos was me.
Yeah.
But in this episode, we did also talk about, and I don't want to gloss over it, is Interstellar 555.
Yeah. Not my favourite film.
I'm sorry, I love that movie.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But it just wasn't mine.
It's fine, you were born in a different decade.
Well, the fuck, I love Scarface, and that was a long time before that shit.
True.
And I guess we talked about gadgets in games. What was probably... I think we talked about the Batarang a lot.
Yeah, we talked about the Batarang, the hook shot, and like all of these other things that like show up in a lot of games like that.
Yeah. But here, this is a good movie coming up.
Oh
Hot
yeah.
Fuzz.
I fucking... that movie was awesome.
It really fucking is. We still need to watch the other two Cornetto Trilogy films, especially the Shaun of the Dead one.
I would like to see them. I did love his character in that movie though, of the like the guy who's just like such a like by the book detective that, you know, he won't even have a pint of beer. He's just like, yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, that epic showdown's so cool. Cobra Kai, the Netflix series?
It was, yeah. It was. It also, which kind of throws into sharp relief like how far Netflix has fallen.
I mean, it was
good. It was good. But the
got
series
worse.
I was talking about earlier, the Masters of the Universe,
Yeah.
it's kind of fallen off the deep end.
I think we talk at some point about the point where they do the dancing girls thing. Maybe.
The Twitter thing. Oh, I remember this. This is one of the ones where Twitter had like the biggest balls known to man, and they fucking banned the sitting president of the United States.
That was it. Yeah.
It's like, ooh, it's rare that you ban someone that can nuke your ass.
Well, can he?
No, he can't actually. Which is why they did it.
But partially he could. Yeah.
It was still a very fucked up thing to do.
Yeah, it was a bit overreaching their boundaries.
Yeah.
We're at the halfway mark, half a year of podcasting.
We are indeed. Next one. We've got a picture of me looking angry. a Ring and an Alien.
Yeah, so we watched the first Alien film, I guess, at this point. I don't know what the Ring was about, but I'm pretty sure that's the Ring with Toothless on it. Maybe we watched How to Train Your Dragon at some point?
I don't think we did.
No. Something to do with rings, maybe jewellery. I can't remember.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. It must have been a quiz segment because your face is there.
Well, I mean, it's the half a year. I probably had you think of a quiz about like what the podcast has been. Yeah.
I probably made about 3 questions about the podcast, and then the rest were like random trivia.
And then the next one, we had a stonking great week, as I wrote it.
Oh god, yeah, the stonks, the GameStop.
Yeah, I made quite a bit of money off that.
Indeed. And what's in the purple book? The pink book?
I can't actually see it.
Enhance. Oh.
Wow, that didn't work.
Oh, no. Oh.
You know, I could just pull up the actual thumbnail.
You could do. In fact, maybe I should do it because you've got the recording going.
So for reference to the people who are listening, I'm actually going through the YouTube playlist of this podcast, and I'm like looking at each of the podcasts and going into each of the thumbnails. So
this was a long story short one. The book says when Gollum fought the Spanish. So I think I gave you a Lord of the Rings thing, and you said like the American Civil War, and I got the completely wrong war.
Oh yes, no, I remember this.
I think this is.
Yeah, I said it was the Spanish-American War, and you had never heard of the Spanish-American War.
Yeah.
And so you just like completely went off in a random direction.
As to why there is a tracer with Hanzo's bow and Roadhog's face, I can't remember.
I mean, for those that want to know, listen to podcast 27.
Yeah, I'm sure it's relevant.
Oh my god. And then comes podcast 28, which is named Strange Love.
Strange Love. Oh, hang on, I've lost you. Here we go. Okay, so that was Twilight, right? No, it was the original vampire book.
Yeah, the, sorry, it's the, God, what is it called? True Blood.
And I was playing Hitman at the time.
And then...
And then the tacos were born.
The weird-ass...
So that was Kaiser's turn to read a dinosaur porn book.
Yeah, dinosaur erotica, which I took seriously. I took 2 pages of notes.
Yeah, and yours was like twice as long as mine. It's a thing for the bucket list, mate. You can't kick the bucket until you've read some dinosaur porn.
I honestly, so the funny thing was the message that I got from Emily, just I didn't think they'd actually have sex with a dinosaur.
Yep.
It's like, nope.
It's a weird part of Audible that came from.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, that was the last time we did anything like that.
Yeah, I don't think we've actually come back. I love how you put swoon next to the dinosaur cover.
Pimp My Dino or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. No, it was Dino Pimp.
Yeah. So
the next one is
then there was a comedian that I was finding fucking hilarious at the time. So that's why she was there. Baby Yoda's on the screen because why not? I guess the Mandalorian was being watched by Kaiser, who's gone. And Rogue Legacy, I was playing that, the new Rogue Legacy 2 that came out. It wasn't as good as the old one.
Yeah, but you're right. No, I was watching Mandalorian at the time. It was the time that I finally caved. Like, I'd heard a lot of good reviews about it.
Did you buy a Disney Plus?
I did.
Ugh.
I'm kind of embarrassed that I did, but I did. And
Yeah.
you know what? Like, some things were worth it. Because I could watch the original Star Wars movies.
True.
And the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian were really good.
Yeah.
I don't know. They haven't come out with anything else since then.
Well, we came out with something since then. It's
Did
my
we?
beautiful face on the thumbnail.
On the next one, because you actually show up on there surviving Nick Cage with booze.
Ah, that Nick Cage film. What was it? 5 Nights? It's not 5 Nights, but
It was, Fuzzy's something. Something Playhouse.
something like that. Yeah, fucking hilarious film.
Basically, it was Five Nights at Freddy's, but with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, as a movie. God, it was funny. And I guess that was when Valheim kicked up large.
Yeah, and I tried to get into that, but I really didn't.
Yeah, that was partially my fault, partially it just wasn't a game that you were seeking, I don't think.
At the time, like, I wasn't really into that sort of thing, and also you guys got way, way far ahead of me.
Yeah. I very much got gripped by that game. I feel like a lot of other people didn't. And I was kind of impatient to play it, and so I just played it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then the Good Omens. I mean, unless you're watching.
I think you're skipping one. I think you're skipping one.
Oh, did I? I didn't.
The Corporate Saiyans?
Yeah. That's got the David Tennant on it.
Oh, I guess. Sorry, looking at the one above and the one below. There's 2 where you talked about Good Omens. Excuse me.
Yeah. It's because of the series. I don't think we talked about The Office. I can't remember what that was from though. Maybe it was.
No, it may have been.
And I guess we talked about Overpowered. I don't know. Like
No.
Those.
No, what that's about is we were talking about... Cause that was when we decided to start playing Sonic Adventure 2 Battle over the Steam Connect Play.
Okay, yeah.
Which is why you see Sonic the Hedgehog there as a fucking Super Saiyan.
Yeah. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we have a Death Star. I can't remember why the Death Star was there. Was that the... No, I'm thinking Lord of the Rings. You know me.
I have no idea what the Death Star was about, but...
I do.
Do you? Alright, tell me.
It was about... I think it was a Critical Drinker episode where he said, like, the fact that there's a weapon that can blow up planets just makes the whole thing ridiculous. And they kept having to go bigger, and so, like, the latest Star Wars series, they have, like, a fleet of things that can annihilate the universe.
He can destroy entire, like, all the planets.
Yeah, it's kind of dumb. It's no longer a threat, it's just a checkmate, and it's not fun.
Yeah.
Then we talked more about Good Omens, and we opened Kaiser's mind that day to the realization that narwhals, the unicorns of the sea, are in fact
I did
real.
not know. I thought narwhals were a fictional creature. I thought that to this day, I can't believe I went through my entire life without actually realizing. Because I know so much useless trivia. And somehow, I had no idea that narwhals were real.
Yeah. And that was also when we started talking about the Jezebel site, because that was when I found the thing that we talked about the week after. Which is
why the episode is called Feminist Space Narwhals.
Yeah. The episode after, it was... What film was it? Love Actually. That was it.
Oh, yeah.
And went through that article about that person shitting on everything. And, oh, God. What a vile person.
It was just somebody who was very, very unhappy, honestly.
Yeah. And then we made it all better by reading Eye of Argon.
Yeah, I'm sorry, looking back at the next episode, yep, the Jezebel, positivity. Then, the episode after...
Yeah, which your face is on twice.
You're the one in charge of the thumbnail, so that's your fault.
Yeah, well, I was doing that meme where they had, like, not this, but this.
So in this one, we were talking about what's that game?
Mass Effect?
No, God damn it, not Mass Effect.
No Man's Sky?
No Man's Sky. We were talking about No Man's Sky and how they had done a bunch of updates, and how when I bought the game, I felt gypped and cheated, and
Well, we didn't talk about the updates because we didn't know about the updates that point. We just talked about how shit the game was.
No, but you were talking about how there had been updates.
I think that was the next one because you can see from the thumbnail.
No, this was the episode that you talked about how there were updates, and you were going to check them out, and on the next episode, you were going to talk about them.
Gotcha, right.
And I was talking about how they had censored the new Mass Effect Legendary Edition by taking out a very shapely ass.
Yeah, the ass gate.
Indeed.
Yeah, God, that took me a while for that thumbnail together. Cutting out all the shapes.
I mean, I do really like that thumbnail.
So many assets.
Now, the next one was just a movie I really liked.
Who's your daddy? What does he do?
Let's play a game. Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Yep. Old Arnie.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Such a
I started playing No Man's Sky and I still got bored to tears by it, but they were at least releasing stuff and some people enjoyed it.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the title. Frodo's Fat Friend.
Yeah, you mistyped there.
I did, in fact, not write. But
back in the early days, there would be like every other day when you get a message from me in the morning saying, "By the way, your latest video has a 10-minute black spot at the beginning where nothing is said."
I did have to sort of like brute force my way into like figuring out how to edit. But to be fair, how many times have we talked about Frodo and Sam being gay?
I don't think we ever have.
Because I think that came up pretty recently, and in this title, we're talking about Frodo's fat friend.
I don't remember talking about them being gay.
I mean, recently we did.
Yeah. I just remember Frodo's fat friend being one of your quotes from that episode. The episode after, we did Going Postal, the Terry Pratchett film.
Great one. And you used this, actually a cutout from me in high school.
Yeah. It's because you're talking about... that was the one where we were talking about, like, I'd just throw out a topic and you make a story about it from your life.
Oh, okay. So the first story time episode.
Yeah.
And we did have loot box stories in there, too, which is why you have the bit in there from,
yeah,
I want to say that's...
FIFA thing.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realise you were guessing. Yeah, the really scummy loot boxes. And the ethics behind it.
Alright, and then move on to episode 37, Science is Magic and Magic is a Weapon.
Yeah, Hirulin, speedrunning game. Lots of fun, I really enjoyed that.
One of the ones that I did, I did it for a 5-second attention span, and then you ended up playing it and getting some kind of a record and contacting the developer at one point.
Yeah, talking to him about the game, because, yeah, it was really interesting. I got, I think, the 7th in the world.
And I was
bear in mind there was, like, not many people playing it at that point.
And I was making a point about how Harry Potter was essentially like a libertarian paradise where like even the children are armed.
Yes, that was yeah, and I don't know what the exclamation mark question mark was.
Yeah, neither do I.
Both of our faces in the next one. This was Point Man Blank or something. Gross Point Blank.
Gross Point Blank. Gross Point Blank.
There we go.
Great movie. A movie about a hitman who goes back to a high school reunion.
There's me and Bunny is?
I honestly...
Maybe it was Easter? It was Easter because you got eggs next to you.
That's a good point. Okay.
One of the quizzes.
It was an Easter quiz. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Ironically, some of the more recent ones are the ones we're having more trouble figuring out what they were. Next one. Invincible.
Digimon.
And Invincible.
Oh, okay, yeah. What's another part? Oh, the fucking goblins being like a bad reference to Jewish people.
Which still seems weird to me. It seems like such a stretch.
Yeah, how
It's
they're
like
like
when
really
that
good with money
YouTube
and Harry Potter and
channel,
stuff.
there was a YouTube channel, Extra Credits. They were saying like orcs were black people. It's
Yeah.
like that seems kind of fucked up. Like no.
Yeah, especially because orcs are generally green
Yeah,
traditionally.
it's one of those things that just kind of crossing the line here. All right. Anyway, next we're moving along a little quickly because we were a little bit more
Yep, I have Argon.
meandering in the first part.
The Alicia's film, I can't remember what it was called, with the pirate in the dress.
Stardust or something like that.
Yep.
I don't remember.
We
what it's
had a
called
lot
either,
of
but
arguments about that.
I know, but I liked it.
Yep, and more Invincible talk.
Yet the finale of that series, which by the way, the main character's father just being the best antagonist I've seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking awesome, dude. Next one,
Judge Dredd, that fucking film.
also fucking excellent movie, and the the panda.
Yeah, the ads.
Oh my god, that's so good.
Instagram banning military accounts.
Yeah, again, which is just weird.
And I don't know, like, is that Dylan Moran on the bottom right? I can't really see him.
Sorry, which one are you looking at?
Number, I can't even read the number because it's
So
behind
so 42 is the next one, and that's where we did
yeah.
Les
Les
Miserables,
Yeah.
or Less Miserables. And
I watched Dumbo, the live action.
that okay,
I think. I assume that was when that was.
another good one.
Epic fail.
The next one where you are pasting yourself on the big zombie titty lady.
Miss Lady Dimitrescu. I've been watching Markiplier play it on YouTube. So we talked about Resident Evil and how it's adapted through the years and how it's changed.
Yeah.
And some of the horrible glitches in the game. I posed the question to you if it was an all-meat society or an all-vegetarian society.
Which is where we get that kind of stabby motion there.
Yeah, we never actually revisited that topic, and I think that was really... not that topic, but that...
that idea,
segment, yeah.
The idea of choosing one option or the other. Yeah, I'd like to do that again.
And Twitch hot tub streams were like big at that time, and people making a lot of money twitching with hot tub live streams.
Shabam, all the thoughts.
Yeah. Getting quite close to us now. We had the... I can't remember what the pirate thing was. The Queen was because it was a history quiz I was giving you.
I think we were talking about rum.
The calling was that terrible advert put out by the American military.
Oh god, that was so fucking stupid.
And yeah, something about rum. Probably piratey. I don't know. Was that Pirates of the Caribbean week?
It may have been. We did watch that movie.
I think it must have been, yeah.
Then next we get Yu-Gi-Oh! And Zeus and...
One Piece?
And whatever the hell that is.
That's Chopper-san. And Jazzy Jeff, of course.
Oh yeah, he's got to be in there.
Yeah.
And then finally we're starting to get closer.
Quickly. Yep, this was a big episode because this was like the origins of Blue Bear, and it was also the first Red Rising book review we did.
Yeah, and I really, really went in depth on that book.
Yeah, that was... I mean, it was worth it. That was such a good book. Better than the others, I would say, in the series.
And then we hit the weird woke Lord of the Rings conference.
Yeah, also the Discord radio channel thing happened.
Oh yeah, where we're talking about those two religious guys.
God, yeah, that was weird. Yes, woke Lord of the Rings, Red Rising Part 2, maps. Yeah. I don't know. How maps used to be better or something. The start of Castlevania.
Yep.
We watched the... No, wait, you and your dad talked about The Godfather, I think.
That's right. Yeah, I had that video there.
And delicious food. No, was it delicious food or was it weird food? I can't remember.
I don't either. It's
But
weird that we
sexy
remember
looking
things that are, like, significantly further back in time.
Well, it's just what the image brings. It's like, I'm not even reading the titles, I'm just looking at the pictures.
I'm doing both.
Yeah. So we had the questioning the weird pride choices with their flag now.
Like, the weird, like, kinky stuff, and it's just...
Well, those are, but the fact that, like, being black is now part of the pride flag.
Well, there's that too, but it was also, like, the fact that they had kinky stuff, and they were saying it was a wholesome event you could bring your kids to, and...
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Yeah, no.
Lost Samurai.
Great movie.
Pretty good film. Yep. And more Alucard.
Also,
I guess that was when he stamped his dad.
Also, the next one is where we got to the next book, and where I had to make the thumbnail myself.
Yep, Golden Sun. I was on holiday, so Kaiser had to make the thumbnail. We had started playing Dyson Spheres. We started talking about that.
And then finally, last but not least, Doctor Who, follow-up to Golden Sun, and Vacation Talk.
Vacation Talk, yeah. Which I had to make that thumbnail twice because I fucked up.
Well, to be fair, if I had woken up on time, I probably could have warned you ahead of time, but I didn't.
Yeah, it happens. I don't know. Not my best work, but not terrible. And has there been another one gone out since then?
No, we are currently recording number 52. Yes.
Well, I'm sure you'll see the thumbnail and see how terribly lazy I did because it's 3 a.m. right now.
Well, to be fair, I mean, hopefully you'll take a little bit of time to make
it. Yeah, not day and night, God no. But yeah, holy fuck, a whole year, man.
We have been doing this for a year. And I don't know about you, but I still look forward to this every week.
Oh yes, it's not something that we don't plan much for it because we like to do things fast and loose as we always have done. But we've certainly got it a lot more. I don't want to say professional, but yeah,
refined. I think is a better way to put it. And you're right. Like it's not something I go like during the week. I'll go like, oh, this might be a good thing to talk about. But I won't go like, all right, we need to go through these topics. It's not structured. The whole reason we started this was we thought that these random conversations that we had were kind of fun to listen to.
Yeah.
And some people agree.
And so put up with at least another year of this shit, guys.
Oh,
and
man.
Next year we'll have twice as long a video segment 3 because we'll have twice as many videos.
No, I say we start at year 2 next year. Dear Christ. Alright. Any final thoughts before we close everything out?
I'm just really glad this has happened. And thank you everyone at home who's been with us for any amount of time. Again, it's great whenever we hear feedback from you guys, and it's just great coming on here every week and talking.
Same. Exactly the same sentiment. Thank you all for listening, and thank you all for sticking with us for however long you have. But yeah, thank you. This is going to be the end of episode 52 of the TMCJ podcast, the 1-year mark. We are done, and the next one is going to be year 2, episode 1. See you then.
Hope you've had a wonderful year.